I'm live. Hey, y'all. Let me see. I'm waiting for the chat to pop up. I got one person in here so far, and it's probably just me. Let me see what's going on. I'm live. Hey, y'all. Let me hit mute so you don't get that feedback. Hi, hey, I see y'all. Hey, Gangarai. I hope I pronounced your name right. Hey, Skyron, first diggable planet up in the house because you cool like that. Hey, Red Bunny, second diggable planet up in the house because you cool like that. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Real Real. Hi, Inquiring Mind. Ear Hustler in the house. Hey, Tutu. Hey, Derek. Hey, Earth Angel. We got Belizean Baby up in the house. Blazing Black Dolphin up in the house. Annie is up in the house. Rashawn. Conservative Free Spirit. What's up, y'all? Sacred Artist, another diggable planet. Y'all coming through quick. Thank you. It's good to be back. Yes, it's good to be back. And as you can see by the title of this video, it's going to be a more lighthearted, more fun type of video. So Kawaii Honey has sponsored another video. So hopefully she'll be joining us in the chat very soon. So I hope everybody is doing well. Happy Leo season to everybody. Actually, let me set up this live stream real quick and make sure everything is good to go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Tell me if it ain't good enough for you, babe. I've been listening to that song lately, and it's very apropos to tonight's discussion because we're talking about sugar daddies. And that's how sugar daddies be. They be like, tell me what you want, tell me what you need. So, yeah, that's what I'm about. Now, we could take a poll and I'll continue to ask this question as we go on. But for those that are in the chat right now, have you ever had a sugar daddy relationship? If you have, press one. Maybe it's clothes you wear, Versace, I don't care. That's the part I like about that song. That's what I'm talking about. See, I don't have nothing wrong with I don't see nothing wrong with a sugar daddy relationship as long as it's done right and there's this mutual respect and everything. Because sometimes you got to get in where you fit in, and sometimes old daddies need love too. Maybe it's the clothes you wear, Versace, I don't care. All right, let's see what else I got to do. Subscribers. All right, I'm setting it to only subscribers can chat. So if you want to chat and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I suggest you do so that you could be included in the chat. All right, let me pull up the live stream on my phone so I can follow along. All right, let me see if I can will this let me do a poll? Let's see. Oh, look like quite a few of y'all have been in some sugar daddy relationships. Let me see. We got Hey Aquarian Essence, Tiffany press one, Real one, Melba, hey, good evening. Annie two, conservative 0.5. Conservative, I feel you because I feel like I was in a 0.5 type of relationship too. It was like a quasi type of sugar daddy situation, but it wasn't like full on. But I've never actually been in like a full-fledged sugar daddy relationship. So again, the question is for those that just came in, and let me see, we do got some people that just came in. We got Bad Robot up in here, Just Be, what's up? Problematic favorite, Ellie, Tyrell, what's up, Tyrell? So yeah, for those who just came in, I asked this question since tonight's video is about sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships and the aspects that come into play with that. If you ever been in a sugar daddy relationship, press 1. For some reason, I can't do a poll on here. That's what I'm trying to find. Let me see. Probably because I'm not on StreamYard, maybe because I'm doing it via Zoom, or else I would create a poll for that. But yeah, I'll be asking y'all that question periodically. Now, I'm of the notion that most of the time, sugar daddy relationships probably are temporary unless you marry the sugar daddy. And I think that is more on the rare end where you end up marrying the sugar daddy. But I do have an example of a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship that actually turned into a marriage. So I got one of those examples too. Hey, Dr. Ken. Aquarian Essence said, my mom one day was telling my youngest daughter, you're not supposed to sleep with your sugar daddy. My Sag mom had a few. Well, some sugar daddies require that. And that's why I'm going to be getting into the aspects and placements that can represent certain types of sugar daddies, because they're all not created equally. You're going to have certain sugar daddies that are very generous. You're going to have other sugar daddies that are going to make you work hard for those coins. So depending on what's in your chart will determine what type of sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship you could find yourself in. That's if you even want to go that route. And again, like I said, I really don't see any problem with sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships as long as there's mutual respect. And as long as, of course, it's age appropriate. It has to be, woman has to be over 18 for it to be appropriate, of course. But we do have an example where the female was not 18. She was younger than 18. So that's going to be very interesting as well. So before I get started, I did just want to, while I'm waiting for the room to fill up, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about Leo season, namely like me personally and where I'm at in terms of love and romance and dating and all that, because Leo deals with that. And Saturn in Leo is my chart ruler because I'm a Capricorn rising. So I have a Capricorn ascendant. Saturn rules Capricorn, and Saturn is in Leo in my 7th house. So I really used to believe in that whole love thing when I was young, even all the way up until I would say my late 30s, early 40s, even. I was very much about, yeah. And I still believe in love to a certain extent, but not for myself in terms of the romantic love. Like there's different types of love. I'm talking about romantic love in particular. And I'm at the point now in my life where I feel like I'm really becoming more Aquarian. And when I say that, yes, I'm a Sagittarius and I'm a Capricorn rising with my moon in Capricorn, but I have a lot of Aquarius energy in my first house. Like most of Aquarius lies in my first house after Capricorn finishes. Then Aquarius starts in my first house, and then it's ruling my second house. So I have the 22nd degree of Aquarius on my second house cusp. So I have 22 degrees of Aquarius in my first house, and my progressed sun is in Aquarius. And I find myself becoming more Aquarian like, especially in terms of how I view romantic love, as just for myself in particular. Because again, this isn't for anybody else unless you are like of the same mindset that I'm at right now. But what's very Aquarian about me as of late, I would say, is that I'm at the point where I really want to break the programming. And when I say break the programming, I'm referring to us living in this matrix like existence. And I'm starting to see everything as being part of the matrix. And to a certain extent, we have to participate in the matrix because that's all we have, basically. And that's basically dealing with life on Earth. And in that matrix, you're going to encounter a lot of karmic induced circumstances and a lot of hard lessons and a lot of hardships and a lot of struggles and stuff. And depending on what's in your chart, it could be really bad. And for some people, not so bad. For me in particular, when it comes to romantic love, it's particularly bad. So again, I have Saturn in Leo, that's my chart ruler, and my Saturn is badly afflicted. I don't have any positive aspects involving my Saturn in Leo. And with it being in the seventh house, that's very much affecting my relationships. So I have two choices. I can either continue to go down the path of trying to find the one, being in a relationship or being in a romance and continue to get hurt, or I could go the path of Saturn in the seventh, where I'm just continuing to be single for the rest of my life. And I'm leaning towards, I'm actually there at that point, single for the rest of my life. And I'm loving it. Like, I love my life being single. I don't have to answer to anybody. I feel like I'm totally free, especially now that my children are grown. I feel like so free. Like, I was listening to that song Free by Destiny's Child today, and I started crying, man, because I was just like, I was crying tears of joy, but also sadness too, because of all the struggle I've been through. So my thing is, it's like once you know better, you do better. And it took me a long time, even as an astrologer, to really just come to terms with the limitations in my own chart. And I'm like, do I really want to keep hitting my head against a wall when it comes to love and romance? Or do I just want to be free and really enjoy my life and be happy? Because one of the things, and I was telling one of my students this tonight, I was like, one of the things I hate about relationships is you can walk into a relationship feeling pretty damn good about yourself, right? And then once the person gets used to you, and sometimes it doesn't even take that long, now here they come with a list of complaints about you. They'll start talking about things that you never knew you had a problem with. And now you're second guessing yourself. Now you might have some insecurities. You're being extra self conscious and stuff like that. I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to get with somebody and now they're picking me apart in ways that I didn't even know like I had, they're pointing out flaws that I didn't even know I had, or even asking questions like, why you do it like that? Or why you chew like that? Why? I remember one of my exes gave me a complex about my fingers, yo. No, not even my fingers, my hands. Virgo, mind you. You know, I got an issue with Virgo men. And this is why this motherfucker had the nerve to talk about my hands. And he said, your hands are weird. Never in my life had I ever heard that from anybody. Never in my life have I ever had a complex about my hands. But this motherfucker gave me a complex about my hands because he was like, why are your hands? Your hands are weird. And I was like, what? My hands are weird. Stuff like that. I'm done. I don't need that in my life. I don't need to take on somebody else's baggage. And again, this is just for me. If you want to fall in love, fall in love. But also, you got to be willing to accept the heartache that might come along with it. And at this point in my life, I'm not willing to compromise my freedom, my peace, my serenity, just so I can have some dick and some man to talk to. No, I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing the lesbian thing either, because some women believe that, oh, if men ain't working out, just be a lesbian. Well, you know what? Women are fucking crazy too. So I'm just saying, either way, if you have certain things in your chart, and actually some people will have a chart where you can see, oh yeah, they'll be better off dealing with women than men, or they're better off dealing with men than women. I'm the type of person, I'm better off being alone, single, and okay with down to mingle, but that's on my will. That's of my volition. So I just wanted to put that out there. I just wanted to let everybody know that you don't have to fall in love or be in love with somebody to feel like you're really fulfilled in life, because that's part of the programming. Part of the programming is, oh, you have to find somebody and you have to be with them. Oh, and if you're not married, something's wrong with you. Or if you didn't have kids, you're missing something in life. All of this is part of the programming. Because again, we have to continue to perpetuate this system. And I'm at the point again with my progressed sun in Aquarius where I'm just ready to just break free from the whole damn thing. And like I said, my kids are grown. Do you think I'm trying to have any grandkids anytime soon? Hell no, because that's part of the matrix. That's more problems. And yes, I would love them to death, but with every human that comes on this earth comes problems. So the less interaction I have, the better off my life can be. And sometimes you got to be selfish. Like I was telling my oldest daughter today, because she's going through some things relationship wise. And I told her sometimes you have to be selfish. And it doesn't mean, always just put yourself first. But sometimes, especially if the person ain't giving you what you expect or need or whatever, you got to put yourself first and maybe deal with them later. So Leo is about love and romance and all that type of stuff, dating and all. But y'all just be careful out there. Really start taking your chart seriously, especially if you get a reading from me and I'm telling you, stay away from this sign, stay away from that sign. I'm not just telling you that just to give you a hard time or to make your life difficult or whatever. I'm telling you this to save you from a lot of heartache and pain. But I noticed that it's part of the human experience that we want to experience heartache and pain for some reason. Because you could tell somebody till you're blue in the face, don't do this or don't choose that person or don't do this. And they'll still do it because, again, they got to have somebody. But we got to be stronger than that. And in tarot, the strength card is Leo. And that strength card is about having inner strength. It's about outer strength too, but it's more so about having inner strength where you are strong on your own, whether you're with someone or not. And where you're not willing to compromise who you are just to make somebody happy. Ellie said, I don't even have a heart right now. I'm just a shell. Well, you know what? Sometimes that's what you got to be in order to protect yourself. Because I'm one of those people that I love hard. So if I'm in a relationship and I love this person, I'm going to do everything I can to try to make that person happy and try to ease their way. And what I learned the hard way is when it comes to most men, you can't be too giving. And I hate that. I hate the way that is, but that's just the way men are wired. I've learned the hard way that the more giving you are as a woman, the more likely you're going to be stepped on, the more likely they're going to take your heart and just stomp on it. So you got to just hold on to something or a lot for yourself. Male, female relationships, it doesn't matter. Gay, straight, it don't matter. And there's so many people out here that are dealing with mental health issues. And that's another thing. I think society has gotten us to a point where we're a bit too accepting of people with mental health issues, where now they're showing or they're demonstrating these negative behaviors and they're blaming their mental health issue, and we just have to accept it because they have a diagnosis. My thing is, if you know you have a mental health issue and you haven't worked on maintaining that mental health and getting better and getting yourself into therapy and stuff, why are you trying to be in a relationship? Because you're just going to create problems for another person, and it's not fair to them. And again, society now wants to teach us, oh yeah, we just have to be understanding. This person's bipolar. This person got this person got that. And because we basically accept that, now we have to be shitted on by this person. And then we get into that cycle. Oh, I feel sorry for them because they got this or they had a hard upbringing. Hey, Kauai, I was waiting for you to show up before I got into the main topic. So thank you for sponsoring this video. But yeah, Kauai, I was just talking about Leo and love and romance and dating and all that. And I'll just leave y'all with this. Just be careful out there nowadays. Because like I always say, hey, Siobhan, you said people on the internet bragging about having mental health issues. It's sick. Yeah. It's like it's a badge of honor nowadays. And I'm just like, you keep your problems over there. So yeah, if you are a person where you're pretty much clear in terms of your head, you got to be really careful if you're dating someone and then they pull one of those mental health diagnoses out of their pocket. And I'm not saying, oh, be prejudiced and discriminate. Actually, yeah, I'm saying discriminate because again, they're kind of giving you a warning. They're saying, yeah, I can behave very badly at times, and I'm going to use this card, this bipolar card, or whatever you want to call the disorder, as an excuse for my bad behavior. Hey, Miss Ray Sons, how you doing? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good. Hey, Abu. But yeah, actually, I just be getting tired of hearing stories from my clients about how they're being mistreated in their relationships, and it be pissing me off because I'm like, nobody owns anybody. But when you get into a relationship, a lot of times people be acting like they own you and shit. And that shit pisses me off. But anyway, y'all take care of yourselves. And Again, think long and hard before going too deep with someone, and always guard your heart until a person can really prove themselves to you that they're worthy of your love, your time, your energy, and your affection, especially in this day and age. There's so many people that are displaying narcissistic tendencies. It's disgusting. And I was just observing these two Black male YouTubers today. And one of the YouTubers I follow, and I've been subscribed to his channel for, I would say, at least 4 years now, maybe longer than that. And I've seen his progression and stuff. And I've noticed, at times he does display narcissistic traits, but I'm like, I still give him the benefit of the doubt. But as of late, him and this other Black YouTuber are beefing. And it's so ridiculous. And I'm just shaking my head like, this is so unnecessary. And it's just showing how people's egos have gotten so out of control that they're willing to like just tear each other down. And these were two men that they were cool with each other at first. And then off of some issue with money, now they're beefing, and now it's entertainment for the masses. And these two men, they're supposed to be on some spiritual shit. They're supposed to be like on some higher level shit. They're supposed to be quote unquote the chosen ones. But they're beefing on YouTube, all this drama and stuff. And I'm just like, again, it's just turning me off from not just romantic relationships, but even like thinking about collaborating with people or other YouTubers and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if you're going to turn on me one day and stuff like how these other YouTubers be doing with each other. It's just so messy. I'm just like, that's why most of the time I just stay to myself. I stay in my corner. And yeah, and I feel like that's the best advice that a lot of people need to take. Just stay in your corner, stay in your lane, and don't even, feed into the drama. LeBoo said, BM stay beefing though. Look at Africa, right? It's so sad. It is so sad. Ellie said, Raw, you should do a series about sinister synastries. I like that. And I probably will call it that, sinister synastry. All right, but with all that being said, enough ranting. Let's get into tonight's main topic because this is a really interesting one. So let me share my screen. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. No romance with no finance. All right. We're going to have to do this like we do before. So when you see the image, just press 1. No romance with no finance. I said no romance with no finance. Honestly though, I couldn't be a sugar baby. I couldn't have a sugar daddy. I'm too independent. I'm very much about my dignity and stuff. And like I said, back when I was younger, I did have a little quasi sugar dad, but I'm like, I can't really consider him a sugar daddy because I think he was only like 10 years older than me. And he helped me out financially from time to time, and I would help him out from time to time, if you know what I mean. And he was a really nice guy. And I think that only lasted for maybe like a year. And it was only like maybe 6 encounters. And that was pretty much it. But I'm just not the type of chick that could really get down with a sugar daddy type of relationship. And I'll tell you why once I get into it. Okay, so I see a bunch of ones, which means y'all can see this image. So y'all see homegirl over here with the money in her hand. She got the Amex card in her hand, some other cards, and here's her sugar daddy right here. She like, yeah, daddy. I love you, daddy. Keep it coming, daddy. Yes. And look, he just as happy as a lark. King Cole said, I want a Splendid Daddy. Now, what is a Splendid Daddy? Does that mean he only giving you maybe he give you the crypto. He send you cryptocurrency. That's the Splendid Daddy. So this video has been sponsored by none other than Kawaii Honey, who has sponsored quite a few videos to date. And I got a number of videos that she sponsored that I'll be putting out soon. Now, Kauai, I'm going to have to like intersperse some other sponsorship videos with yours. So the next one I do, I think it'll be from another sponsor, and then I'll get back to yours as well. All right. So Kauai wants to know, what are the most common aspects that are found in sugar babies or gold diggers astrological charts? So I'll get into that. And one thing I have to explain, it's not like there's just going to be this one recipe for a sugar daddy. So there's going to be a number of configurations astrologically, a number of different combinations and aspects that can produce a sugar daddy. And it'll be different types of sugar daddies. Oh, sure. Nacho Lover, send me an email and just put sponsorship in the title. And then you could tell me, I'm about to send you my email address. And then you could tell me what you want to sponsor, and I'll let you know how much the sponsorship is. And that goes for anybody that wants to sponsor a video. So again, there are, like, I would say there is a perfect recipe for the ultimate sugar daddy. And I'll get into like aspects that could deal with that. But there will be a number of factors that could come into play with respect to a sugar daddy relationship. So basically, you can have Venus in any sign and attract the sugar daddy, because Venus could be in the 8th house, it could be in the 5th house, 2nd house, 7th house, and that can play out. But I'm going to get into some specifics as well. So you also asked, what makes one money hungry according to their astrological aspects? So I'll talk about that. You said, what are the common themes to look for when you are looking for someone who tends to go after an individual's money or status from my astrological standpoint? All right. And please provide me with some examples of some famous sugar babies or gold diggers and what type of aspects to look for in their charts. All right. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into, hey, Danny, how you doing? Labu said, my sister has Venus in Scorpio and stayed having men giving her money. Yes, that's a chief gold digging sugar baby Venus. And just because ain't mad at her, right? So before we get into the aspects and the placements that can make for a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship, let me just talk about some of the challenges that one might encounter if they try to be in a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship, or a person that couldn't do it or would have a real hard time doing it might have these aspects in their chart. So the quincunx, if a person has a quincunx between Leo and Capricorn, they could have a challenge with being in a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship, because this quincunx is representing the challenges between young versus old, young people versus old people. Also, this quincunx could be present in the chart. It could be either in the woman's natal chart or in the synastry if the sugar daddy relationship poses challenges. So again, and the thing with the quincunx, it can work out, but the people just got to make adjustments. And especially more so, the sugar baby will have to make adjustments because, again, she's dealing with this old guy. She's still young. And that quincunx could represent some of the challenges that just come with dealing with a major age difference. Also, the quincunx between Gemini and Capricorn. With this, there could be a challenge with communicating with people from older generations. And this could even be due to the sugar daddy having a hearing aid in some cases. Because some of these sugar daddies could be like well into their 70s and 80s. And they might, there's a high chance they're going to have a hearing aid. When I went on a cruise with my mom this past spring, it was Princess Cruise Line, right? And Princess is known for, like, the majority of people that take that cruise are like 60 years old and older. When I tell you, like, every other person had a hearing aid in their ear, it was scaring me. Like, I was seeing my future right before my eyes. And my mom has a hearing aid too. She's in her 70s. And I'm like, this shit's scaring me. I'm like, oh my God, this might be me, in 40 years or whatever. So yeah, he might have a hearing aid. You can't even, he'd be like, what did you say? What? But also, this could be just due to a generation gap in terms of mindset. Now, if in the sugar daddy's chart, this could represent mental deterioration that adversely impacts his rationality. So, a woman that gets with a dude that has that quincunx in his chart, she might really be able to take advantage of him because his mind is deteriorating. Next thing you know, he's putting her in his will. Next thing you know, he's just letting her just have free reign with his accounts, all types of stuff. So that's one where if it's in a sugar daddy chart, he better be kind of careful. All right, next. Y'all let me know when you see the next slide. Press 1. Oh, cat daddy. Let me see. Ken Cole said, I have gotten sugar baby opportunities, but it was the wrong suitor. Lala said, I must be doing something wrong. So Lala said, I have Venus in Scorpio too. See, you got to just work that Venus the right way. If you want to attract, because that is one of the easiest Venuses to have when it comes to attracting sugar daddies. What house is your Venus in? Because that could be part of the problem. Also, the aspects involving your Venus could be part of the problem. Okay, so I see ones. All right, next. This square, the square between Aries and Capricorn. So if you have this square in your chart, and I have this square in my chart, you might have a hard time dealing with a sugar daddy. So I have this square, and that's why I really can't see myself being in a full-fledged sugar daddy relationship, because what this square can represent is the new versus the old. So Aries is the new, Capricorn is the old. Aries is fresh. Oh, girl. Oh, Petty LaBelle. I thought Lala's. Oh, say Lala, your Venus is in the 5th. Okay. That's good. That's good having Venus and Scorpio in the 5th. But see, you got to demand it from these men. And I don't say you got to do it outright, but you have to set the expectation up front with any guy that you yes, I do, Babezilla. Just go to my website. With any, you got to set that expectation up front. So if he's showing signs that he's not down for that, then you just got to cut him. You got to cut him off at the neck. Get rid of him. You also got to send the universe the right message. Like, look, I'm looking for a man that's going to pay my bills. I'm looking for a man that's going to pay my rent, pay my car note, all that. All right. So again, this Aries square Capricorn, fresh is Aries, stale is Capricorn. So again, if you have this square in your chart and you think you're going to get yourself a sugar daddy, you might get the sugar daddy, but you might be repulsed by him, or you might just be like, oh, I can't take it. He's too damn old. I can't. And that's how I am. I'll be 49 this year. And just the thought of dealing with like a 56, 57-year-old, I'm just like, especially the way these men be coming out like nowadays with all types of erectile dysfunctions and stuff like that. See, again, my chart ruler is Saturn and it's in Leo. So I still have that youthfulness in me. And I can't be with some old fuddy-duddy, especially one that can't get it up, because sex is such a big deal to me in relationships. Like, I'm like, if I'm not having good sex, why even be in a relationship? So yeah, it would never work for me. Now, can make it very hard for sugar daddy relationship to work due to age difference and even difference in energy level. Dr. Ken said that's a good thing if he has ED. Well, I'm talking about, if it's a love relationship. If it's a sugar daddy relationship, yeah, that's good if he has ED. But yeah, but he still got fingers, yo. He still might want to be all touchy-feely with you. Siobhan said, these dudes dirty with ED now, right? So yeah, you want to go out dancing, but this old fuddy-duddy, this old fart, his back is half broke. He can't dance no more. He's in a scooter. Remember them little rascal scooters? That was back in the day. That old lady, she was like, I'm a little rascal in my little rascal. Now, the older one gets, the cornier they tend to seem when they try to be in with the new times. So again, you might look at this old man that's trying to get with you, and especially he trying to like be hip and stuff, and he trying to speak your lingo and stuff like that. You looking at him like he corny, like, I can't deal with this dude. Like, so yeah, if you have this square, sugar daddy relationships could be rather challenging. Yes, the fingers, kawaii, and oh my god, I could not have some old decrepit man's fingers to all over me. I can't. No. Mm-mm. And his fingers all shaking and stuff. Hell no. He's struggling to find a hole. Oh, hell no. And then you know how old men, they love to lick their lips a lot, and sometimes their tongue be like kind of hanging out their mouth like they're a lizard when they get old. Oh no. And then they be getting the hair that be growing out their ears. See, I'm showing my square right now, that square between Aries and Capricorn in my chart, because I can't. Like the hair that comes out there, no, no, the incontinence, Mm-mm. And you know, old people, they fart a lot and they can't hold those farts in. And I have an issue. Even if the man's my age, don't fart around me. I'm one of those people. You know, some people be like, oh, that's just a sign of love. If he could fart in front of you or you could fart in front of him. I've never, see, I got Venus in Libra. I don't do that. I don't fart in front of my man, and I don't want my man farting in front of me. But I was in a relationship, pretty long-term relationship, where every morning, because we were living together, my son's father, he would fart in bed all the time. And I'd be like, oh my God, fart in bed, fart loud as hell in the closet. I'm not in the closet, in the shower. And I know that older people fart more because the older I get, the more I fart. And I'm like, yo, like I never farted so much in my life until I became in my late 40s. I'm like, what the fuck? Like your body just produces more gas. And hey, Johnny. She was us. But yeah, your body produces more gas for some reason the older you get. And I don't got time for that. And at least I can hold my farts in. But the older you get, the more you might not be able to hold those farts in. Like case in point, when I see my mom in the springtime, right? This spring, before we went on that cruise, she gets out the car. Like this is when she's first greeting me. She gets out the car and she's like, oh, excuse my, she was like, excuse that smell. I passed, no, I was like, she was like, excuse that smell. I was like, did you pass gas? She was like, yeah. I was like, damn, mom, right out the gate. Like, come on. And here she go laughing with her Aquarius ass. But yeah, I'm not for it. All right, so let's move on. Now, Virgo sesqui square Capricorn. Now, when you got the earth signs, you know, signs of the same element, they trine each other in general. But depending on where the planets are, sometimes they could be about 135 degrees in distance, and that produces a sesqui square. So if a woman has a sesqui square between Virgo and Capricorn in her charts and she's trying to get with a sugar daddy, the sugar daddy relationship could backfire with the baby having to submit or be at his service too much. So we're talking about at this point, she got to clean his ass. She's changing his diapers. She's giving him medication at night. You know, she's giving him back rubs and shit. She's taking him to his doctor's appointments and shit. That's just too much. So now you're his caregiver. And you could also be put in degrading situations. Now, be careful. This aspect could be in your chart if you read books like this one, The Sugar Daddy Guide for Complete Beginners, a step-by-step sugar baby approach and strategy to finding and discovering a rich, wealthy, caring sugar daddy without stress. And this is written by a man, Fred J. Anthony. Now, you got to be careful with books like this because they think they're going to give you the perfect recipe. And if you have this sesqui square in your chart, and you read a book like that, be careful because you might take this advice and it might steer you in the wrong direction. You get with a guy that's going to end up degrading you, being in total control over you, just so you could get the bag. And sometimes not all money is good money. Nobody puts baby in a corner, right? Like my man Patrick Swayze said. So when you have that Venus sesqui square Capricorn, that is like he trying to put baby in a corner. and you gotta like just be careful. So choose wisely, but I would even recommend it if that sesqui square is involving your relationships, involving your dating life, and all that. Kauai said, I have that Virgo sesqui square Capricorn aspect in my chart. Yes, Patrick Swayze, rest in peace. But yeah, Dr. Kid said, Daddy. Let me see what else y'all saying. Air Mystery said late Virgo rising. Nope. I got some things to say about Virgo in relation to the sugar daddy thing. No way. You said my friend Nora, she keeps speaking about you everywhere. You are famous among Arabs. Oh, stop. I love you for that. Thank you. Wow. I love it. All right. What I used to want to always go to Morocco for real. I was like, Morocco, that's the place to be. Now I don't know. I'm now I don't know so much about traveling internationally. Now, let me know when y'all see the next image because this is important because I need some information. I need some birth details on these people. I was trying to find it and I can't find it. But these people have gotten some media attention because this is a sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship between this couple right here. And her name is Demia, his name is James. So if y'all can find, because some of y'all are real good at finding birth information, like obscure birth information, if y'all can find at least this woman's birth date, because I looked, I couldn't find it. And I'll tell you what her last name is, or you could just put it, you could Google search Demia and James and they'll come up. But she's like in her early 30s and he's in his maybe late 60s, early 70s. And he recently bought her a house. I think they are a nice looking couple. Yeah. Now, let's say someone has the Taurus sesqui square Capricorn aspect in their chart. Money and gifts could come with bad trade offs, such as having to dress up like Wilma Flintstone when you really wanted to be sexy red for Halloween. Now, I'm just making a joke here, but I'm sure this costume choice was his idea because the Flintstones were more of his generation than hers. So don't be surprised if you find yourself having to bend a bit too much if you have this sesqui square in your chart and it's affecting your houses of love and relationships. Just be careful because you might end up getting more than what you bargained for or what have you. But she looks happy though. She looks really happy. And what her story was basically, she's a hairdresser and she got to the point, hey, Doki baby, she got to the point where she got tired of paying the bills all on her own and she wanted to elevate. And he came along and elevated her. So, yeah, if anybody could find her birthday, I would be so happy. Oh, yeah, B. Smith. I should have mentioned him. But wasn't really, I wouldn't consider that a sugar mama relationship, though, because he wasn't much younger than her, was he? All right. So let's just talk about the houses real quick. So, second house is important when it comes to sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships because the second house is money. It's money, resources, possessions. It's also value. So, if you want to be in a sugar daddy relation or be in a relationship with a sugar daddy, it would help to have either Venus in the second house, Mars in the second house, Pluto in the second house, Libra in the second house, or Scorpio in the second house. If we're talking about the fifth house, again, the fifth house is dating, it's romance, it's sex. So having Venus there, or Jupiter, or Pluto, having Taurus on the fifth house cusp, or even Taurus beginning in the fifth house, Leos, Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Pisces, these signs can help to get you that sugar daddy. But you, again, it's not like it's just going to happen. Sometimes you have to be strategic, and sometimes you still have to have the right hookup in your chart to be in a successful sugar daddy relationship. Now, seventh house, it helps to have either Venus in the seventh house or Jupiter in the seventh house. Pluto in the seventh house could do it. Having Taurus on the seventh house cusp, or Leo there, Virgo on the seventh house cusp, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces. Now, when we get into the different Venuses and the Sun and Mars, I'll explain what these signs are doing in terms of what type of sugar daddy the person could attract. Libra on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, that can do it as well. Libra rules relationships. So, for instance, when Libra is on the 8th, it could be more so of a transactional relationship where you're really looking for financial support. If it's on the 9th, that could be attracting a rich partner. If it's the 10th, this could be a partnership that's more of a business arrangement. If it's 11th, it could be a relationship of convenience. And if it's the 12th, hell, money is no object, baby. That's one of the blessings about the 12th house, Pisces, and Neptune. Let me get into it. All right, so now we're going to get into baby's Venus. So let me know when you can see the next slide. Jupiter says Smokey Robinson gives me heavy sugar daddy vibes. I seen him in a video. He was all grinding on stage. I was like, Smokey, you need to sit down with your old ass. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Hey Marie, how you doing? You said I have North Node and Leo in the 7th. Well, it is time for you to experience love in this lifetime. I love it. And you said my Leo Venus in the 8th. Oh, be careful with that. But you could get yourself a nice sugar daddy with that hookup. You very well could. All right. So again, this is in the baby's chart. This is if the woman or gay men, because this is for gay men too. So if you're a gay man and you're looking for a sugar daddy and you got some of these placements, you could definitely end up finding yourself one. Now, so for heterosexual women and gay men, these are placements in terms of what they can produce. So Venus in Taurus or the second house. So this is straight money, like just money. And also beauty is coming into play. So it could be that you're attracting this mate because you are beautiful, or you are pretty, or you are handsome, or you are just very attractive. And they are looking at you as being high value. But that can also mean that your partner is high value. But with this, you better keep yourself up, because Taurus is all about appearances. So if you start to let yourself go, don't be surprised when the sugar daddy lets you go. Venus in Leo, 5th house. So youth is the main factor with Venus and Leo in the 5th house. So this could be where you're attracting a mate that wants somebody young. They want to feel young through you. And then sex as well. So a lot of times if you have Venus and Leo in the 5th house, if you think you're going to have a sugar daddy and you don't have to have sex with him, a lot of times that's not going to happen. A lot of times you're going to have sex with him. Venus in Virgo or the 6th house. Now, this one is tricky because he'll help you out, but more so in a practical way. Like if you say, Daddy, I need some new panties, he'll buy you that happily. Daddy, I'm late paying my electric bill. He'll gladly help you with that. Daddy, I need to eat lunch. He'll give you lunch money. But don't be expecting diamonds and pearls from this guy, because a lot of times, nah, he's just going to want to help you out, not spoil you. Venus in Scorpio or the 8th house. You know, Scorpio and the 8th house deals with shared resources. So this is like you're attracting a partner that has no problem sharing what he has with you. Also, this is where you could be attracting a benefactor, which just is a fancy term for a sugar daddy, and where he's basically getting off on your sex appeal. Now, the good thing, or it could be good at some times, you might enjoy the sex right along with him. And usually sex will be a requirement when the Scorpio is involved. If it's not full on sex, you're going to have to do something, give him head, something. Venus in Sagittarius or the ninth house. This is where you could be attracting a rich partner and a very generous mate. Venus in Capricorn, 10th house. This is where the age difference is really coming into play. So a partner could be very old. Also, the materialism theme is coming into play, the rewards that come from a relationship, and also opportunism. And you could say basically this could be a business arrangement. Venus in Aquarius or the 11th house. We're talking about entitlement here. Also, Venus in Aquarius, and when it's in the 11th house, acts as a money magnet. So it could be quite easy to attract mates who are going to give you money. Also, this can play out as a relationship of convenience. And then Venus in Pisces or the 12th house. Now we're in simp territory. This is being spoiled, being kept, being sheltered, being cherished. Again, with Venus and Pisces, it's like money is no object. It's like pennies from heaven. It's like, going on a spending spree, just getting whatever you want. Shutting down the store, shutting down the Gucci store, or shutting down Dior so that you can have a private shopping spree. That's Pisces shit. Like, that's one of the things I love about Pisces, 12th house, Neptune. When that's involved with money in the right way, again, it's like money is no object. It's like you got money on top of money and you could just keep on spending and you're not going to go broke. That's when Venus in Pisces or Venus in the 12th house is done right. Because what Pisces produces is insulation. It insulates you from the threat of hardship. So Venus in Pisces can play out as financial insulation. So Venus in Pisces is one of the best Venuses to have when it comes to a gold digger, sugar daddy relationship. Diana said, that's my Venus in Pisces. So consider yourself lucky. Look, my mother got Venus in Pisces, and most times she don't got to lift a finger because my stepdad does everything for her, including pump her gas. All right, more. So let's get into the trines and the sextiles. So for it to really work out well, at least even temporarily, you do want a nice trine or a sextile between Venus and another planet. So one of the best is to have Venus trine Mars. You can add Venus sextile Mars into that too. With the trine, it's more automatic. With the sextile, you kind of got to put some work into it. Even with the trine too, you'll get the bare minimum in terms of benefits just alone automatically, but you can always ramp up the benefits of the trine just by putting some work into it. Oh, you're so welcome, King Cole. With the sextile, it's more about, okay, my friend hooked me up with this dude and now he's my sugar daddy. That's more like that, where it's like, okay, more of like this connection happened because A plus B equals C or whatever, you know what I mean. But anyway, so with this one, this can produce ease in attracting men and getting money from them. So I have Venus trine Mars in my chart, but because it's in Libra and Gemini, so my Venus is in Libra and my Mars is in Gemini, yeah, I can get money from men if I really wanted to, but because it's that air energy, it's not really hitting like it could if it was in water or earth. You get what I'm saying? Like, so even with that, like, yeah, I know I could get money from men. I've even attracted some rich men back in my day. Like, I attracted 2 NFL players back in my day that I could have got with, and probably would have, I don't know if it would have ended up in marriage or whatever, but they was definitely trying to holler at me. And then one was in the NBA. And because I'm a Sagittarius and I got Saturn and Leo, that's why I was attracting the athletes. But yeah, I could have got with some dude with money because I got Venus trine Mars. But again, because it's air, a lot of times it's not going to hit like financially like it would if it was earth or water, if you get what I'm saying. And also, I'm a bit too independent to be doing that type of thing anyway. So ease in attracting men and getting money from them. Venus trine or sextile Jupiter. This is a really good one to have, especially the trine. So this is basically enrichment through partnership. Venus trine or sextile Saturn. This is relationship results in an improvement in status. Venus trine or sextile Neptune. This is a really good one. When you got Venus trine Neptune, that's a millionaire money. Venus trine Jupiter is too. Venus trine Neptune. I would rather have Venus trine Neptune than Venus trine Jupiter because again, that Neptune energy produces money in endless supply. Like that's like endless supply of money. So Venus trine Neptune, that's like you attracting a millionaire. Venus trine Jupiter too, but Venus trine Neptune, we can even push it to billionaire status. So being sheltered, spoiled, or kept by a mate. Venus trine or sextile Pluto, this is attracting a sponsor or benefactor. Venus trine or sextile Chiron, special favors, awards given in as a result, and this can produce an unconventional union. A lot of times with the Chiron influence, it could be that the man is married and he got you on the side and he's, giving you gifts and stuff like that, giving you money and all, as long as you don't open your mouth and ruin the whole situation. All right, let's get into the conjunctions because the conjunctions are going to come into play as well. So Sun conjunct Venus, sugar daddy aspect. So this is one of the chief sugar daddy aspects. So if a woman or gay man has this in his chart, she's basically looking for a man of means, looking for a man, or I can't even say looking. She can just naturally attract a man that has money and you can smell the money off of him. Like he looks like money. He feels like money. So this is like money, high value. This is like high value man right here. You can also say Venus conjunct Mars in some cases, but you got to be careful with that one. Venus conjunct Saturn. This is another chief sugar daddy aspect, status, business arrangement. And again, it's basically saying sugar daddy with Venus being the sugar and Saturn being the daddy. Venus conjunct Pluto, a benefactor, a sponsor, support. Venus conjunct Neptune, money is no object, simping. Venus conjunct Chiron. I forgot to put Jupiter in here. Of course, Venus conjunct Jupiter. That's somebody that could be rich and very generous. But at the same time, you got to be careful. This is probably why I didn't even think to put it in here, because you got to be careful with that Venus conjunct Jupiter, because a lot of times you're not going to be the only one. But in some cases, it could just mean he's very rich and very generous. Venus conjunct Chiron, exceptional, unconventional union. And then if Venus is conjoined to the Capricorn North or South node, this is sugar daddy energy, but with karmic ties. So you got to be careful if you have this hookup. But again, let me just add Venus conjunct Jupiter just to round it off. Hold on. But again, like I said, you got to be careful with Venus conjunct Jupiter. Another thing with Venus conjunct Jupiter is this could be a rich guy, right? But he might want a free-for-all. So rich partner, generous. But like I said, he might want a free-for-all because that's what that can produce. So he might give you very little and expect a lot in return. Now, that won't always be the case, but it could be in some cases. Especially, let's say, like Venus is in the Venus and Jupiter is in the sixth house. That could be where he wants a lot from you, but he's only gonna give you he's gonna ration out the money. All right, moving along. All right, let me know when y'all can see the next slide. Let me see what y'all are saying. So Kawhi, you said I have Sun conjunct Venus and Virgo. So yeah, you could attract a man that's going to help you out financially, but because we're talking about Virgo, He might just give you the bare minimum, or it might just be on an as needed basis. Diana said, I have Venus trine Pluto too. That couple with my Pisces Venus. Hell yeah. Get that money, girl. Get it. Get the bag. All right. Y'all see the one? Okay. Y'all see the big headed Barbie with the sugar daddy? All right. So Sun or Mars in Taurus. So now we're getting into baby Sun and Mars, because the Sun and Mars represent the type of men you attract. So if she has Sun or Mars in Taurus or the second house, that's definitely going to help. So, but with this, you better love to be kissed and fondled by old men. Now, he's going to give money and gifts according to your value and worth. Sometimes your beauty is enough. However, he could be very self-preserving unless the Sun or Mars is like afflicted by Jupiter. Like he could have, like, I mean, she could have Sun or Mars squaring Jupiter, and that could cause him to be less self-preserving, or squaring Neptune, and that could cause him to be less self-preserving than what he is. But yeah, this is a guy where he's really concerned about your worth. So you gotta always look your best, be smelling right, just look the part. Because if you don't, then he could really lose interest and he might start withholding the money. Sun or Mars in Leo or fifth house. So basically, he's looking for the fountain of youth, and he's looking for it through you. So the younger you are, the better. He wants to be your lover and father. Expect to be dominated, but with love. He could still possess good looks, high energy, and a functional dick, because he might have some youthfulness still in him too. And he's looking to you to, really bring it out of him. Sun or Mars in Virgo in the sixth house. So, yeah, you might attract a man that's going to help you out. But again, it could be just with the bare necessities, food, clothing, shelter, if even that. Low level type of help. You might have to do a lot of groveling. He wants to see you on the regular. Expect services from you. And you know what I mean by services. Expect to feel like shit sometimes too, because this is going to be a guy that might cut you down to size. He might be trying to correct you. He might want to criticize you. Hey, King of Wands, I forgot to get back in touch with you about the music you sent me. I did like that song where you said the chick remind you of a Sagittarius. Yeah, I was digging that song. I think I still got to check out the other songs, but yeah, I got to get back to you on that. But what's up? But yeah, be careful with the Virgo. So if you're a Virgo, which means your sun is in Virgo and the sun is ruling men, or you could have Mars in Virgo. Again, this is a guy that could do a lot for you, because that Virgo energy loves to help damsels in distress. But while he's doing for you, he is going to want something in return. He might want you to be very submissive, and he might want to just always criticize you and stuff. And you're not even getting the best of things. Like, instead of going to Fleming's or going to Ruth Chris, he's taking you to Red Lobster or Applebee's. Now, some people are fine with that. Some people don't want much out of life. But if you have expensive taste, if you have champagne taste, and you're a Virgo, and if you don't have a Venus to, if your Venus ain't right, or if your sun ain't in trine or sextile with Pluto or whatever, don't be surprised if you got champagne taste and he has a beer budget. And he's going to want sex on the regular too. So that could be a problem. Let me know when y'all see the next slide, because I swear this dude looks like a straight up Scorpio to me. Dr. Kim said, I really want a Costco shopping spree. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That just means you're practical. All right. So you see the next, don't he look like a Scorpio? So, a woman could have Sun or Mars in Scorpio or in the eighth house, and she could do pretty good dealing with a sugar daddy. Like she could attract a sugar daddy quite easily, but he's going to want some sex more than likely. Now, he will happily support you financially, but wants to violate your innocence. Or sex is part of the deal. Of course, it will be. He wants full control. He will tear you down. He may. Now, some can be really nice, but I always say in this day and age, we always got to adjust for inflation because people are acting nuts nowadays. So you got to be careful as a Scorpio if you want to get with a sugar daddy because you might get more than what you bargained for. So you may be questioning your sanity after a while. And it can be hard to remain on top when you're dealing with that Scorpio energy. He could easily discard you for another if you get out of line. Now, the good thing is he might die on you. So make sure you get in his will because Scorpio rules inheritances, it rules wills, it rules death. So, yeah, you might actually luck out and have a nice payday if he dies on you. But you got to make sure you're in his will or at least married to him. Sun or Mars in Sagittarius or the ninth house. So this could be a rich slash wealthy, generous man. He can be a load of fun despite his age, but he could be a philanderer. Don't be surprised if you're not the only one. He could also lose interest quickly if you make things too routine or humdrum. Also, like I was telling my daughter, no, who was I telling the other day? I was telling somebody, I was like, Sagittarius men aren't dumb. So it's not like you're going to openly juice them. I don't know if you know what juice mean, but that was a term we used back in the day when you was going to take a man's money. So a lot of times a Sagittarius man, he's sharp. So you're not going to really be able to play him, but he's going to give out of out of the kindness of his heart. But if you think you're going to like totally juice him to the max, a lot of times he will set limits at some point, unless he got some issues with planets in his chart. Or even in the woman's chart, she could have, like, again, Sun square Neptune, or even Sun conjunct Neptune, and she might be able to take all his money, especially like when he's, in the throes of love making with her and he's had a lot to drink. That's when she can really ask for the big ticket items. Okay. Sun or Mars in Capricorn or 10th house. Y'all let me know when you can see the next slide. So this is basically where it's like, you old goat. So this is the dirty old man motif. Now, this is a guy that could be fatherly, controlling, but also degrading at the same time. He could be grumpy, stingy, a curmudgeon, and he may die on you too, simply because of old age. And I'm not saying that all of them are going to be like this, but this is something you just got to watch out for. If you have Sun or Mars in Capricorn, you could attract this type of sugar daddy, or if it's in the 10th house. Sun or Mars in Pisces or the 12th house. This is simp energy. So I'm sorry, Pisces men, but y'all are the simps of the zodiac. So if a woman has her Sun or Mars in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, she can attract the simps. She can attract the guys that she can juice the hell out of. She can attract the guys that are going to do anything for her and everything for her. The guys that want to be her savior, the guys that want to be her hero and all that type of stuff. Moon trine Mars. Oh, y'all let me know when you can see the next slide. And actually, let me add something real quick. That's a good one. Okay. So, Moon trine, Sun or Mars. These are good aspects to have, these trines, if you're looking for a sugar daddy relationship. So this is like ask and ye shall receive. Now, may not have to give much in return. So this is where it could be really easy for you when you're in a sugar daddy relationship, because you may not have to do much in order to get a lot from this man. You may actually like being with him as well. So this is one of the trines where you could end up being married to your sugar daddy. Sun trine Mars. Basically, this is showing that he's looking for youth, for someone to light up his life. He's looking for excitement. He's looking for sexy times, and you can fulfill that for him. Mars trine Pluto. This is one of the best trines to have for a sugar daddy relationship. So this is powerful and prominent men. So if you got Mars trine Pluto, you could attract men that are powerful and prominent, men of means, men who will pay to play. And sex could be easy with this guy. It could be enjoyable as well. Y'all could be having the time of y'all life together, and he is just dropping money in your bank account. He's giving you an allowance every month. Oh my God, that reminds me of this client that I had back in the day. And like, what she told me was almost unbelievable. Well, it was unbelievable to me, but I believed her, especially considering what was in her chart. But she was dating this rich guy, and this guy was giving her like $30,000 a month. And again, I was like, it blew my mind. And mind you, it was not enough for her. She was like, I need him to give me more. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what you spending 30,000 a month on? But basically she said he was giving her 30,000 a month, and she was trying to figure out how to get even more money out of this guy. And he wasn't bad looking either. That's what really made me look like, wait, what? Really? But yeah. But like I said, I believed her. Sun or Mars conjunct Jupiter. So this is a rich, generous, free-willing man. And this is like the man that's going to take you all around the world, take you on trips and stuff, exotic vacations and all this type of stuff. Sun or Mars conjunct Neptune. Again, because Neptune's involved, this is simp energy. This is a man you can juice. This is a man that's going to cherish you and where he could spoil you. Now, I have Sun conjunct Neptune in my chart, so I have the potential. But because I have other things going on, like that Aries Capricorn square, I can't bring myself to deal with that type of situation or relationship again, because I feel like the trade-off would be me having to be in a submissive position in a certain way. And I just can't abide by that. But like I said, I have attracted some rich men back in the day. Would they have been like good to me? Probably not, because of what I got in my chart. Sun or Mars conjunct Pluto. This, again, you could attract powerful men, and this is where you could be receiving financial support from men. But if you have these conjunctions, be careful, because you could end up getting with the wrong man. He might be supporting you financially, but then next thing you know, he beating you to an inch of your life or whatever. Or he just ruins your life in some way, shape, or form. You got to be careful with that Pluto energy, because it can backfire on you, especially Mars conjunct Pluto, because that can produce murder in some cases even. All right, let me know when you can see the next slide. Slide, slide. My dad was kind of like a sugar daddy at one point. He actually, yeah, for like two chicks. Now, I don't know if you could really call it a sugar daddy though. He's an Aquarius. But when he was in his 30s, I'm trying to think, how old was I? This was when I was like early teens, like 13, 14, 15. He had two different girlfriends, not at the same time, but at different times. And they were both young. Like the one chick, she was 19 and my dad was in his 30s. And I knew it was on some sugar daddy shit, because I knew this chick wouldn't have been with him unless, she was giving him money and stuff like that. And that's when my dad had his Cadillac Coupe de Ville. No, he had the Cadillac Sedan DeVille. So he really thought he was the shit back then. And yeah, I think he was a sugar daddy back then. And then he had another girlfriend after the 19-year-old. This other girlfriend, I think she was only like 22, maybe 23, and she had 2 kids, and he had moved her into his house, and he's taking care of her and her kids, and basically was like to hell with us and that was like for a couple of years. He wasn't like to hell with us, but he did kind of put that woman and her kids first. And me and my sisters, we was kind of looking at him like, yo, you whooped. I'll never forget the time where he bought her this white leather outfit. This lets you know this was the early 90s. He bought her, it was like this white leather mini skirt with this matching white leather sleeveless top, right? And she was getting dressed up in that outfit because I remember I was over there because I used to go to my dad's house for the weekend. This is after my parents got divorced. So I remember sitting there, seeing her get all dialed up with this white leather outfit on, and she's going to the club without my dad. And I'm looking at this shit like at my young age, I think again, I was like 14. I'm looking at this shit like, yo, she's straight up like using my dad, going out. I know she about to be on some young dude. And here she is. I was pissed. I was like, yo, this is fucked up. And she was the first chick that I ever seen that had hair under her arms. That blew my mind because I grew up with a mother that always shaved her armpits. Nowadays, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm like, a lot of times I don't shave my armpits if I'm not going to wear a sleeveless top. But back in the day, I never seen a woman that had hair under her arms. And I guess my dad loved it because I guess it didn't bother him. Yes, my daddy had a caddy. I learned how to drive in that Cadillac. That was a smooth ass ride. Let me tell you, it was like driving on pillows. Jessica said my dad was like that too. Yeah, my daddy was a little bit of a sugar daddy. Yup. All right, so Sun or Mars in Leo. So now we got to get into the daddy's placements. So we already talked about the woman's placements. Now we got to get into what could be going down in the man's chart if he's a sugar daddy, because there's going to be different manifestations. Sun or Mars in Leo. So if he has his Sun or Mars in Leo, basically he's looking for youth. He needs that passion in his life. He wants to have fun. He could be very generous if you keep him happy, but you need to stroke his ego along with his cock. And I'm saying cock because that's a Leo term, if you ask me. And I posted that on Instagram and I quickly deleted it after a few people liked it because I was like, because sometimes I'd be trying to maintain my profile as a lady with my Venus and Libra, but then sometimes the Sagittarius comes out in me and I want to just say something that's real blatant and tactless. So I was like, Leo men, they don't have penises, they don't have dicks, they got cocks. Because you know, cocky, that's Leo men. And then one of my followers on Instagram, he was like, oh yeah, I got a Leo moon. No, he was like, I'm Leo rising. And he was like, I always refer to my penis as cock. I was like, see, there you go. I don't be making this shit up. So yeah, Leo men, they got cocks, and that's because they're all cocky and shit. But yeah, if the man is a Leo sun or his Mars is in Leo, you gotta stroke that ego. And while you're stroking his cock, you got to tell him he got the most beautiful cock you ever seen. And then he will open up his wallet. Let me tell you. Sun or Mars in Scorpio? Blazer said I'm Mars and Leo, but I don't claim these Mars and Leo narcs, right? That is the problem that can come if you attract a man with Sun or Mars and Leo. You could have to deal with the narcissism that comes along with it. So Sun or Mars in Scorpio? So this is a man that desires power, control, and plenty of sex. And he will happily exchange money for it. That's the sugar daddy type, because not all Scorpio men are like this. And the freakier you are, the better. So, like, you really got to show your ass in the bedroom if you're dealing with a Sun or Mars and Scorpio man. If he has Sun or Mars in Sagittarius, he might be rich, He might be wealthy and also generous. He will take you on trips around the world, but you probably aren't going to be the only chick he's doing that with, more than likely. Sun or Mars in Pisces. He is not afraid to simp, and he might even be proud of it. This is the dude that everybody on social media is calling a simp when he runs and defends a chick. So he's ultra devoted and he wants to spoil you, especially if you make him feel like a savior or superhero. So all you got to do is just say, like, oh my God, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. Like, you really helped me out. You really saved my life. Thank you and all. And yeah, and a lot of times he's going to be into your feet. You put on some sexy lingerie because a lot of times those Pisces men love lingerie. You wear the high heels. A lot of times they love the stilettos. They love it when your nails are done, your hair is done, and they'll pay for all of that because they want you to look as glamorous as possible. They're going to buy you expensive jewelry, expensive perfume, take you out to 5-star restaurants, Michelin star restaurants and shit. Because again, when it comes to Pisces, money is no object. You can basically drain his bank account. Now, let's talk about his moon and Venus, because the moon and Venus in a man's chart is representing the women in his life, the women that he likes, the women he can attract. Let me know when you see the next slide. Hey, Cosmic Homegirl. Yes, Captain Save-A-Ho. He got the cape on his back. Yes. And he's proud of it too. All right, y'all you could see the next slide? All right. So if he has Moon or Venus in Taurus in the second house, so he needs pretty, voluptuous, and sensual women. So he may cough up some money to keep her, but he may not be very generous due to his need for financial security. So it's like you're going to have to work with him on that, because a man with Moon or Venus in Taurus, he's very concerned about how much money he has and how much money he's able to accumulate and save. But he's also very much about having a woman on his arm that is basically going to represent him in the best way. And the best way, a lot of times, is going to be her face, her body. She has to look good, smell good, dress good, all of that. Be the best representative, because if she's not, then it's going to be a problem, because Taurus is very much about appearances, very much about looking the part. So you see how she looks in this picture right here? This is like Moon and Taurus energy. Oops, my bad. What just happened? All the slides. Hold on. I just got to click on a slide. Where are we at? Okay, here we are. All right. So you see how she's looking right here? This is Moon and Taurus energy all day. And you see how he's just adoring her because he's just like, oh my God, she looks so good. You see she got the jewelry box open because there's probably a diamond necklace. Yep. Moon or Venus in Cancer. So this one is a tricky one, or the fourth house. This one is tricky because a lot of men with Moon and Venus in Cancer, they're very much about saving money. And they don't want to go broke because they're very much about keeping a roof over their head, keeping food on the table. But these are men that absolutely need women. Let me tell you, these are men that really can't live without a woman. So you can get him in that respect. So it would really help if he had Venus and Cancer in the second house. So that is like, okay, he's willing to give the woman the lifestyle that she wants just because she's always going to be there. So, and she has to be very sweet towards him as well. So he has to have a woman at all costs. So if he has to pay to play, he will. But don't expect much from him beyond the necessity. So this is where he's kind of similar to the Virgo. So he might give you what you need and also occasional gifts, especially on your birthday, anniversaries, and stuff. But he might be more generous if he has Moon conjunct Jupiter or Venus conjunct Jupiter, or it's in the ninth house. So, but yeah, with the Cancer, you got to be a little careful with them because they can get kind of scary when it comes to money. Moon or Venus in Leo, fifth house. So if his moon or Venus is in Leo or in the fifth house, he needs a young woman to make him feel young again. He can be generous, but also domineering and territorial. You better act like you are into him, even if you aren't. And he can tell, trust me. Again, you got to stroke his ego along with his cock. That's just going to be part of your job. This is the type of man where you can't just expect him to give you money and you're not giving him no loving in return. He's going to want some sugar in return. Moon or Venus in Virgo, sixth house. So he loves to help damsels in distress. He wants to help you, but he will also try to keep you on a short leash. He can be hella cheap too. Fault finding, critical, and insecure. So y'all pretty much get the gist of it with this Virgo. Like, this is not really a good sign for gold digging, sugar daddy relationships. Yeah, he can help you out, but a lot of times you're not going to get rich off of him unless he happens to die on you and you're in that will, or you get married to him and then he dies and you get the money that way. But yeah, a lot of times he's not going to spoil you. If you notice, the man that spoils you, that's the Pisces. Virgo opposes Pisces. Virgo is more on the practical end, and it's more about, okay, I'll help you out, but I'm not going to be a simp for you. And a lot of times he's going to be very insecure as well. Moon or Venus in Scorpio. This is one of the better moons and Venus for a man to have if you want him to be your sugar daddy, or if it's in the eighth house. But again, you got to be kind of careful with this. So he needs a woman who needs support. He needs a lot of sex. He could quickly discard you if you get out of line or if you gain a pound. So you need to stay in shape. He'll probably have you in the gym anyway. He'll probably pay for your gym membership. He might still be going to the gym himself, so y'all could be working out together. He could devalue you and play mind games. His aim is to either control or destroy you. He may put you in his will, though. So, and when I say control, not all control is going to be like he's being abusive, but trust and believe. Scorpio is about control. It's about power. And a lot of times, Scorpio men, they do need to will control. They need to be the ones on top. So if you make him, like, he doesn't even have to be totally in control. Just make him think he's in control and you could pretty much get him. But Scorpio men, they're pretty sharp too. So a lot of times if you're faking it, they're going to be able to tell. So you got to tread lightly with Scorpios, but Scorpio is one of the best signs for the whole sugar daddy situation. So if his moon is in Sagittarius or the ninth house, basically he needs a woman who represents his wealth or riches. The more exotic, the better. Know who's a perfect example of this moon in Sagittarius? Donald Trump. Donald Trump got moon in Sagittarius. And two of his wives, he's been married 3 times, I think. 2 of his wives were from foreign countries. And, they had that kind of, they had that real glamorous type of look with them. So that's what he wanted. And he wanted women that were going to represent his wealth, represent his riches. And the more exotic, the better. Also, it can cause him to be very generous, but don't be surprised if you aren't the only sugar baby. He could have more. And I think that was happening with Donald Trump. Moon in Capricorn, 10th house. So if he has a Capricorn moon, he attracts women who are looking for father figures or actual sugar daddies. These are your materialistic gold digging women. So he could be open to business arrangements, but he wants to will control over these women as if he's their father. He could be quite stingy and exploitative. He needs a woman who represents his status, basically a trophy wife. Moon in Aquarius, 11th house. So if he has moon in Aquarius, or if it's in the 11th house, he could attract women who are entitled and who are looking for relationships of convenience. And he might be okay with it. He could be very liberal with respect to how he views women and how he treats her, but also obstinate and unreasonable with his woman, especially when he's not getting what he wants. This is another one that could be kind of tricky. because Aquarius is a sign that can become tyrannical. So he could switch up on the woman at some point, especially if he's not getting his way. And also, I forgot to mention with Aquarius, the objectification theme comes into play. So with a man that has moon in Aquarius, he might want a woman that he objectifies, like she has big breasts or she's a blonde and he just loves blondes. And that would be very common for certain men with moon in Aquarius, because Aquarius deals with like light colored things like bleach blonde hair and stuff like that. And then moon in Pisces, 12th house. If he has moon in Pisces, he could be an even bigger simp than if he has Sun or Mars in Pisces in some cases. So he's a sucker for a pretty made up face, wigs, weaves. Like, this is a man, he don't care if you're wearing a weave or a wig as long as it looks good. And he'll pay for that shit. He'll pay for your bundles. High heels and lingerie, like I said before, with this Pisces energy. And you could basically drain his bank account. But he wants you to look the part. He might even want you to role play. He might want you to get dressed up in the nurse, the sexy nurse costume and play nurse for him and all that type of stuff. Take his temperature rectally and all that type of stuff. Yeah, he might want that. So again, the Pisces is the easiest. It's the easiest to juice. He's the easiest to get over on. He would be the more gentle one unless you get with the crazies. And there's plenty of crazy Pisces men. So even with the Pisces, you got to be kind of careful. You got to really vet them. All right, so let's get into some famous sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships. Yup, he very well could have a foot fetish. So keep your feet looking nice. And he's probably going to be paying for your pedicures anyway. Let me know when you can see the next slide. You said when I glanced up, I thought it was Bill Clinton. All right. Does anybody know who this lovely couple is? Let me just tell you, after watching the documentary about these two, I have to admit, I developed this admiration for her. And this, because I find her so entertaining and amusing. And I would say it's also because of the Capricorn connection. You know, I'm a Capricorn moon rising. She's a Capricorn sun. And it's like, I kind of get her. And she went through some tragedy maybe about 10 years ago. She lost her daughter to suicide. Well, not suicide, it was drug overdose. Her daughter overdosed on drugs. So she also has some tragedy in her life, despite being a sugar baby and being a rich woman. Yes, Queen of Versailles, Diana. So if you ever seen the documentary Queen of Versailles, this is the couple that were featured in the documentary. If you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. It's so entertaining. It basically takes them through when they were going through hard times financially. They were trying to build this mansion that was like the biggest mansion in the United States, like totally living beyond their means. Like, she's a straight up gold digger. And the thing, I guess why I admire her is because she doesn't make any bones about it. She's basically like, yeah, I got to the point where I didn't want to work anymore. And I found this rich guy and had a bunch of kids with him to make sure that I'm going to be all right. And I'm like, you know what? I can respect that. So here's David Siegel and Jackie Siegel. And David and Jackie, they own what is it called? All those timeshares in Vegas, and I think in some places in Florida. They live in Orlando, Florida. So Jackie Siegel, she is a Capricorn, sun at the 29th degree of Capricorn. She got Mercury in Capricorn. She could have moon in Capricorn. And then she has Mars in Aquarius, conjoined to her black moon, Lilith in Aquarius. Saturn conjoined to Chiron in Pisces. Neptune in Scorpio. Uranus conjunct Pluto in Virgo. South Node in Sagittarius. That Sagittarius South Node can mean that in her past life she was rich. So that can explain why she wanted to be rich in this lifetime, because that's what she's grown accustomed to. She got that Venus in Aquarius, relationships of convenience, entitlement. Let me know when you can see the next slide. Yeah, she is smart. She was actually what was she? Was she doing like stockbroker? She was like either a stockbroker or she was doing like computer. She had a computer science degree, I think. You said why he touching her like that? I feel violated. I'm not in the picture. Okay, so you can see the picture. So you see her with her bikini on. You see David with his, I guess, swimming trunks on. You can definitely see the age difference right here. So Venus in Aquarius, her Venus is unaspected. Now, I don't have the time of birth, so her Venus could be aspecting her ascendant or midheaven, but it's not aspecting any planets. So what that means is, I always say when you have an unaspected planet, that planet is running wild in the chart. So her Venus is allowed to run wild, which makes a lot of sense because she spends so much money. Like when she was like showing the house that was going to be built, the size of her closet was like the size of a house. It was crazy. It was like the size of a small house. So this chick has spent so much of their money that she contributed to some of their financial problems. But he lets her, and that's very Venus and Aquarius. So having a huge sense of entitlement, a marriage of convenience, and being objectified. He basically objectifies her. He also basically is involved with the beauty pageants. So like in the documentary, they were hosting this like charity event or fundraiser, and there was beauty queens there, and David was just drooling over these beauty queens. So he's very much about objectifying women, and he basically has objectified Jackie, but I don't think Jackie minds. Jackie used to be a swimsuit model, so she's used to being objectified. Sun at the 29th degree of Capricorn, getting with an old ass man. High pressure situations involving husband's business. So again, he had a timeshare business. I forget, it's called Westgate Properties. He has a timeshare business, and due to the recession back in 2008, they fell on really hard times and they had to sell some of the properties and stuff like that. But then they ended up getting back on top. But yeah, that's why it's so interesting of a documentary, because you're seeing these rich people struggling and their house isn't really kept. They had to fire their housekeepers and stuff. It was crazy. So the high pressure situations, that's what that 29th degree produces. So even though I don't know her birth time, I do believe she is a Capricorn instead of an Aquarius. And that 29th degree makes a lot of sense because of the high pressure situations involving her husband's business and also them building that mansion. And that 29 deals with home and houses and stuff like that, in addition to other things. Now, Jackie has Mars conjunct Black Moon, Lilith, and Aquarius, and they're both at the same degree. I think it was the 21st degree. So with this can mean that she is okay with being objectified, because that Black Moon Lilith is representing like her shadow side. And usually people really don't want to acknowledge their shadow side or certain parts of themselves that other people might find unsavory or whatever. And with Aquarius ruling objectification, this is like it kind of, because it's conjoined to Mars, it's like this is her identity. She's okay with being objectified. And basically, this can show that she shows a lot of skin, which she does. You know, she's always showing her cleavage and stuff like that. Aquarius rules nudity, and it can also deal with being half nude. And she was a bikini model when she was younger, and attracting men who want her to strut around in the nude. I wouldn't be surprised when David and Jackie are in their bedroom that David wants Jackie to strut around butt ass naked. I wouldn't be surprised, because again, it's very much about objectification here. David could have a chick on the side, and most likely Jackie didn't care. So this, remember, Mars in a woman's chart is representing her man. So with Mars conjoined the Black Moon Lilith, this could be where her man is dipping out on her, but as long as he keeps the money coming, she can look the other way. So if you watch that documentary, The Queen of Versailles, you'll see that when they were having that fundraiser at the house, he was all in these beauty queens' faces and he was flirting and all types of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised, like when he was much younger, like when he first got with her, that he was still cheating on, like he was cheating all over her. And that 29th degree can, sun at the 29th degree can deal with a man that is a cheater because that can produce love triangles. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackie didn't care because again, she got Mars in Aquarius and Venus in Aquarius. A lot of times that could produce a woman that's not jealous and she just is basically in it for convenience. Mars and Aquarius trine Jupiter. So remember, I said Mars trine Jupiter is one of the aspects that is good for being in a sugar daddy relationship. So she has it. So attracting a rich and generous man who is very permissive. But because the signs Aquarius and Gemini are involved, this can also show that he's rather detached and also flippant. So when you watch that documentary, that's exactly how he basically displays himself. Very nonchalant, very indifferent towards her, very flippant towards her. Even the way he would talk to her a lot of times was kind of just like, oh, yeah, you're in the way. Like, oh, you dumb bimbo, kind of like. So, yeah. Also, she has Juno in Pisces. So Juno can come into play because Juno is a relationship slash marriage asteroid. So if you have Juno in Pisces, or you could have Juno in Scorpio, or you could have Venus conjoined to Juno, and that can play out as a sugar daddy relationship as well. Juno in Sagittarius, Juno in Taurus. She has Juno in Pisces. So this is her being kept, being spoiled, cherished by David, and where David is a simp for her because again, she can buy basically whatever she wants, but he will in turn be passive aggressive, which is also Pisces. So in the documentary, there was a time when they were on when they were struggling financially. And when I say struggling, they would still have plenty of money, but you know, they were looking at like losses, big losses because of the recession. So he started to complain about the electric bill. And he was like, why every light has to be on in this house and all this stuff. And he was blaming her. And she was like, and then when the door was left open and stuff like that. So he will get passive aggressive with her and like just get a funky attitude and stuff like that. But he is a simp for her at the same time. So again, part of the reason why he's in such a messed up financial situation is due to her. A big part of it. So let's talk about David's chart. So David is a Taurus, born on May 3rd, which helps. So that 3 basically contributes to him being a rich man. So he has Sun conjunct Moon, Mercury in Taurus. He also has Uranus in Taurus. So remember what I said about a man with Moon in Taurus, and then he's a Taurus Sun. They're very much into beauty, and they're very much about appearances, and that's why he chose Jackie, and that's why he has no problem, you know, with the fact that he knows this woman just wants him for his money. But as long as she's willing to play the role of the housewife and all that type of stuff, he's cool with it. So David has Moon conjunct Mercury in Taurus, trine Capricorn North Node. So this is basically the trophy wife aspect for him. He has a woman that is basically helping him with his reputation, helping him to maintain that status, and where he is basically getting a certain level of respect even as a result of having a pretty wife. His wife is his status symbol and mouthpiece. So in the documentary, you'll see that David Siegel is a man of few words. He doesn't speak much at all in this documentary. It's mainly Jackie saying most of everything. So this basically is showing that, yeah, she's his status symbol, but also his mouthpiece. South Node conjunct Pluto in Cancer. So this is basically where he is getting in deep with his wife's spending habits and that mansion that they were building. I don't know if that mansion was ever completed. I got to do some research and see. But they were in over their heads with that mansion. It was ridiculously big. He has Mars in Libra. Now, as if you notice, I didn't include Mars in Libra for Sugar Daddy because Libra is more so about 50-50. It's more so about equality. So this is basically just showing that, yeah, David could be a sugar daddy, but he also wanted to be married. So basically this shows that, yeah, he got a sugar baby, but he ended up marrying her because at the end of the day, he wants to be known as a man that is married. So a sugar daddy that had to be married. Also, his comment about trading her in for two younger women if she were to fall off. So, a man that has Mars in Libra, he might make comparisons with his wife and other women. And that's basically what he was doing. Now, you could say he was joking, but I don't think he was. And he probably reminds her of that. Like, yeah, if you start to look too old, but I think it is more so in jest. But when he was younger, he probably was really like that. Like, if you start to fall off, I could trade you in for two younger women. All right, next. Y'all let me know when you see the next slide. This one is a really crazy one. Blazing said, I hate Mars and Libra men. Please stay the fuck away from me. I wouldn't want to deal with one either. All right, yes. Somebody said it. Anna, fabulous Anna Nicole. She's so outrageous. Or wait a minute, what she said? She's so something. I watched a couple of clips of the old Anna Nicole show. Remember that show? What was it? VH1? That show was crazy. Like if you go back and look at some of those episodes and see how high she was when they were filming those episodes, it's sad, man. And it's really sad seeing her son because her son died first and then she died after her son. That shit was crazy. But yeah, so she got with this old dude, this old timer, and this was just about money. So this was like classic sugar daddy relationship, but it didn't end well for her. And I'm glad it didn't because this is a situation. So remember, I said, I don't have a problem with sugar daddy relationships as long as there's mutual respect and, it's age appropriate. In this case, I don't think it's age appropriate. I think he was too old. By the time she got with him, he was basically on his deathbed and his mind was deteriorating, something terrible. So she really took advantage of him. And Anna is a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the free for all. So she looked at him like, oh, this is a free for all. I'm going to get rich. But at the same time, Sagittarius has a big heart. So I think Anna probably did like him in some way. She probably thought he was a sweet old man. She probably did care for him in some way, shape, or form, where it wasn't just about, of course, it was about money. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, I guess, is she probably wasn't mean to him. She was probably nice to him. You know what I'm saying? She probably tried to really make his last days feel good. And I would say that could be one of her virtues, like as a Sagittarius woman. Yeah, you wanted the money, but maybe you brought happiness to this man's life. I mean, he looks hella happy right here. He looks very happy. So maybe she did bring happiness to his life when he was really at his worst, about to leave this earth and all that. But again, I still feel like that's kind of crossing the line. He's a bit too old and feeble for you to be doing that with, girl. So here's Anna's chart. She has Sun in Sagittarius in the second house. Remember, I said this is a good placement for attracting a rich man and where he's going to be generous towards you. She also has Scorpio on the second house cusp. That's good for attracting a sugar daddy as well because Scorpio deals with other people's money. Second house is money. And she also had Mars trine Pluto and Mars trine Uranus, but it's really that Mars trine Pluto. That's like I said, that's one of the best sugar daddy aspects that you can possibly have. But you see, she has Venus conjoined to that Libra South Node. So that's part of that's the underlying reason why things didn't end well with her trying to get that money. Let me know when you see. Kawhi says some people said she did bring happiness to his life. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised she did. Blazing says she sucked the soul out of him. Let me stop. Basically, she kind of did. And I doubt that she had sex with him, but I'm thinking she would probably, jack him off maybe. And that could have been too much of his vitality going out of him. Because, a man that age, he can die during the sex act because it's just too much on the heart. You see how she was able to kiss that man? Oh, Lord. But again, she was like, I got a job to do and I'm going to do it well because it's going to be worth it in the end. And then she did all that for nothing, basically. So, Sun in Sagittarius, marrying a rich man, especially with it being in the second house. Mars in Capricorn, trying Pluto in Virgo, sugar daddy aspect extraordinaire. This is where she has a benefactor through him, and also you could say he's her sponsor. Mars in Capricorn, square Aries North Node. So this shows that it wasn't easy for her to play kissy face with that old dude. You kind of see her facial expression right here. This does not look like a face of love or enjoyment. She's basically kind of grimacing a little bit. Her forehead is a little furrowed. Yeah. And you could tell she's even holding his face, like kind of holding him back a little bit because he probably, if she didn't hold that face, he'd be all up in her mouth. But yeah, you could see where she's trying to like hold him back a little bit. So remember I talked about this Aries Capricorn square and how it could be challenging to be with a sugar daddy, especially a really old one, because of that new versus the old. So this basically shows it wasn't easy for her to play kissy face with that old dude. Mars in Capricorn, sextile Neptune and Scorpio. Basically, this is her meeting J. Howard Marshall, who's this old guy. She met him at the strip club. So basically, that shows she was fulfilling a man's fantasies, fulfilling his fantasies in exchange for money. And then he even went beyond that and started to date her. And next thing you know, they're getting married. Then when he dies, basically, his son contests the will. So he had two sons. One of the sons was in his will. One of his sons was not in his will. And surprisingly, Anna Nicole Smith was not in his will either. Now, because she was the wife, automatically the wife is supposed to get the money. But because of the circumstances involved, her getting with him when he was so old, his family contested her getting any money. And at first she was awarded because she had filed for bankruptcy. It was weird. She filed for bankruptcy, and then when they were in court, they basically awarded her like $100 million or $88 million or something. Then the brother, and then it was also like his stepdaughter, they contested that. And then after it went back and forth in court a number of times, when it was over, Anna Nicole didn't get anything. I'm basically paraphrasing the story. But yeah. So remember I talked about men with Mars and Scorpio could be sugar daddies. Also men that have Moon and Virgo could be sugar daddies. And also men with Venus and Pisces could be sugar daddies. You see how he got all of this? And to add insult to injury, his Venus was conjoined to the South Node in Pisces. So that's a loosely conjunct because when you think about the seconds involved, the minutes involved, that's a bit almost at the 20th degree, but we're still going to count it in this case. But yeah, he got Moon in Virgo, Mars in Scorpio, Venus in Pisces, South Node in Pisces. This man was a straight up simp. But he wasn't that much of a simp because he sure didn't put her in the will. But anyway, Moon in Virgo, again, him wanting to help a damsel in distress. Venus conjunct Pisces South Node. This is super simp energy. And Anna was basically like, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. Because again, it was his children. that said, oh, hell no, you ain't getting none of our father's money. So in this case, now with the moon in Virgo, we have to look at it as representing his family, opposing Venus and Pisces, which is representing Anna Nicole. So this is the family going up against Anna, saying, you don't deserve any of our father's money. Family goes up against Anna. Sun conjunct Chiron in Aquarius, squaring Mars in Scorpio. This is the children of J. Howard Marshall contesting his amended will. That Mars in Scorpio is representing the amended will. All right, let me know when you can see the next image. Some of my sports fans in here will know who this guy is. Some of y'all might not, though. If you're a football fan, you might know very well who this guy is. Any football fans up in here? If you're a football fan, you probably already know who I'm talking about. All right, Derek, you see it? Thank you for pressing 1. Does anybody know who that is? I'm going to wait and see if anybody knows who that is. I want to see if I got any football fans in here. Why you press 2? You don't see the image. Nobody knows who that is? I gotcha. Girls, I got them locked. Hey, yeah, we got a football fan in here. I knew it. Somebody was going. All right, real 7. Yes, Bill Belichick. Is that how you pronounce it, Bill? Because I'm not a football fan. But my ex told me about this dude. And so when his name comes up, now I perk up because I'm like, oh, okay, I heard about this guy before. Bill Belichick. He was the coach. Is he still the coach for the New England Patriots? Who's he coaching for now? Y'all let me know. I don't know who V Stefano is. Let me know, Dr. Ken, who that is. You said I don't know, but he looks nasty. Like he gets real freaky. He does, don't he? Yeah, is he still the coach for New England Patriots? Let me know if he is. But this is his sugar baby right here. Now, I don't know if he's still with her, but this created some scandal in the football world when she popped up on his arm because she was the cheerleader, the head cheerleader, I think. So they was like working side by side. And next thing you know, they got a sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship going. And I'm not hating on her for it. I'm like, get it, girl. You get that bag, girl. Sis, boom, bye, hoorah, hoorah. All right. So Bill Belichick. Now, I think this is a different chick because this is a blonde. So this just shows you that he's not a stranger to dating women who are very much younger than him. Now, I don't have the birth information of the cheerleader, but I think this is a different woman. And she does look a little bit older, or actually a little significantly older than the brunette. So he has Moon conjunct Chiron in Capricorn. So this is where it's like he gets with these younger women and they're looking for a sugar daddy because of the Capricorn influence. But because of the Chiron, they could have daddy issues. Also, this could be a business agreement. Also, the Chiron influence could deal with where it doesn't look too great because, this is a woman that he's working with. And now, he's walking off the field with the head cheerleader and people are like wondering like, oh, what they got going on and stuff like that. So there could be some things, but Chiron can deal with things being exceptional. So this could be where he's allowing these women to be the exception to the rule, or where he's basically making himself the exception. How he could make himself the exception, he could have been seeing these young chicks while he was married to a woman. Now, I don't think he's married anymore, but when he was married, he might have still been dating these young chicks. And then he might allow a woman to be the exception to the rule where he's like, I don't care if you date younger guys. I just want you to have some time with me. So that's where the exception could come into play. Like this woman, she could still have boyfriends and stuff like that, see other men, but when he calls, you have to answer. If you want that diamond necklace or you want that tennis bracelet. Moon and Chiron sextile Mars in Scorpio. So this is where he's being a woman's sponsor, benefactor in exchange for sex. Moon in Capricorn square Chiron and Aries. So this is where, and yeah, he is an Aries sun, isn't he? Yep. Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So that's basically, that's rich men energy. That's also like big dick energy, you could kind of say. But you could say he got a big ego. So imagine an Aries man, right? You know, Aries, they got the ego with them. And then he also has Moon in Capricorn square in Chiron. Wait a minute, my bad. Hold on. Not Chiron. What was I looking at? He got Moon conjunct Chiron squaring Mercury and Venus. Let me just change that. I made a mistake. My bad. Hold on. Let me change that. But I'll tell you what that square in his case. So remember, I talked about the square between Aries and Capricorn. Now, in his case, let me just change this real quick. Moon and Chiron in Capricorn. So it's squaring his Mercury. And I think also, yeah, his Venus. So this is like him knowing a woman is only with him for his money and how it stings at times, because this is a man where it's like he got an ego. So it's like, while he knows these young chicks are just with him for money, he really would want them to really want him for him. So he might also feel insecure when his woman is around younger men. So that's how those squares can play out with him. So again, he's going up against these younger men by dating these younger women. And basically, it's like he could be feeling insecure at times because, again, he's an Aries. He's very much into himself. And he doesn't ever want to think that he's lost his cool or that he's lost his ability to attract women. But he knows now that he's old, he has to pay to play. And that can sting sometimes, which is represented by this square right here. Even if he sees this woman talking to young guys, that could be a problem. And that's where that Mercury comes into play. And he might not even address it with her, like, yeah, I saw you talking to that linebacker over there. But he's still going to probably feel that sting, and he might suffer in silence. Then he has South Node conjunct Pluto in Leo. So this is where he has a strong need to feel young again, especially through sex, and where he could be dealing with some vampiric tendencies. So when I say vampiric, that's the Pluto influence. So this is like he wants to suck the life. He wants to suck the youth out of these young girls. He needs this youthful energy to feel young again. And it makes sense because he's a football coach. That's also a football coach aspect. He's a football coach, and he's around young guys all the time. He wants to feel young again. So naturally, he's going to want a sugar baby. Black Moon Lilith at 2 degrees Leo. This is where he gets with the cheerleader. So his Black Moon Lilith is representing that cheerleader, her basically, and Sun conjunct Lilith in Aries. This is where he could still have a strong sex drive in his old age, and that cheerleader could be helping him to fulfill that. So again, if we're dealing with Aries men, a lot of times it's like they never grow up fully. They still are like a boy inside of a grown man's body. They still want to play with the boys. They still want to feel young. They still want to be all, vibrant and, be all about excitement. But because he's older now, he has to pay for it. And I could tell it kind of bothers him at times because of what's in his chart. But he's willing to do it nonetheless, because again, he got to feel young because of that South Node conjoining Pluto in Leo. And I would say that conjunction means that he still has a high sex drive. Pluto conjunct Proserpina. This is where he could probably get ugly at times. So he could be very controlling due to this aspect. And this makes me think that he could hold a woman against her will at some point. Like if she's trying to leave and like he's just holding her, he won't let her go or whatever like that, tackles her, football. He basically tackles her onto the floor and says, you're not leaving until you do this or whatever like that. Proserpina can deal with like either being kidnapped, being raped. Now, I'm not saying the man has raped somebody, but you never know. You never know with these athletes. First of all, a lot of athletic men, they're dealing with a high level of testosterone, which is why a lot of men in the NFL, they have a high incidence of domestic violence situations because they are dealing with high levels of testosterone. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has forced himself on a woman back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised. And then Neptune opposition Amor, scandalous love affairs, being juiced by a lover, simping over a lover. But he's not going to simp too hard because he's an Aries. He might simp a little, but not too hard. He's still going to try to maintain some, outer strength and make it seem like he's the man. All right. Next. I don't know if anybody heard about this story. This story came out maybe a couple of months ago. Aoki Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons' daughter. I feel sorry for the girl. I really do. Let me see. She's the same age as my son. Yeah, she's still real young. Wow. I feel sorry for her because it's like, girl, what are you doing? Now I know what she's doing. She has a hidden agenda with what she's doing because I feel like she's trying to hurt her father. Because as of late, she was photographed playing kissy face with this old man. Did anybody hear about this story? Kawhi, you heard, honey, you heard about it? Yeah. Diana said he might have slipped a little something in a drink like Harp. Yup. You talking about Bill Belichick? That could have been it. Yup, Diana. Diana said at least he can afford them. Some men want younger women and can't afford them, right? Yup. You got to pay to play. So yeah, so here's Aoki Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons' daughter, right? And she was photographed with this old ass man, right? This was actually kind of disturbing. I ain't gonna lie. So, like I said, I don't have a problem with sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships, but I feel like this is a little like borderline age inappropriate, even though she's what? She's 21. Actually, she's 22 this year, but still, like, I don't know. This is unsettling to me. I don't like it. And then she posted a video on social media where she was riding in his car and she was pointing out like the high-end shops. I don't know where they were, but they were riding down the street with all the high-end shops like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all that stuff. And she's pointing out stores and she's like, oh, that's my favorite store. She's basically trying to give him hints like, oh, I want you to take me shopping here. And she's mispronouncing the name of these stores, some of these stores, high-end stores and stuff. And he's laughing at her because and I couldn't find his birth information, unfortunately, because I wanted to see what he's working with so bad, because he was basically clowning her and he was laughing at her because he's basically laughing like, you little girl, like you think you gonna play me, but I'm actually playing you type shit. And it was so sad. So Aoki has Sun conjunct Mars in Leo. So remember, I said if a woman has Sun or Mars in Leo, she could attract a sugar daddy, because this is where she's attracting men who are looking for young things, looking for that young thing, looking for that, fresh meat. So this is her getting with a man who is looking for a sugar baby. Sun in Leo, sextile Saturn in Gemini. Getting with a powerful businessman. This can also help her to elevate as a result of her getting with a man or sugar daddy. And also, this is where she got media attention. And this helps her to accomplish a goal. And in my opinion, the whole goal is to hurt her father. So on one hand, she might naturally have sugar baby tendencies where she does want to go after men that have a lot of money and men that are older. But I think in this case, she's trying to piss her father off. Because I think, matter of fact, Russell Simmons even chimed in on this because, people were coming to Russell like, look at your daughter, get your daughter. And he was like, yeah, my daughter told me she was going to post something like this on social media or something like that. So it does look like she is doing this to get back at her father. And with Mars conjoined to the sun, that can do it where you got beef with your father or there's some type of animosity you got towards your father. So you get with a guy, you're trying to hurt him. So here's another picture of them on the beach. So she has Venus in Libra trine Neptune in Aquarius. And remember, I said Venus trine Neptune is a great aspect to have if you want a sugar daddy. And she has it. This is like millionaire, billionaire energy. I don't know if he's a millionaire or a billionaire, but he's definitely one of the two. So this is her basically attracting a millionaire. But she doesn't have to stoop this low. She could have easily get with somebody that was born that's like a rich, maybe somebody in the NBA, somebody in the, not NFL, NBA, they make more money. Somebody maybe in Major League Baseball, somebody, some celebrity, something. She didn't have to settle for this. But again, I think it's because she's trying to piss off her father. So being cherished, spoiled, kept by a partner. But she got to be careful because her Venus is in Libra. So again, when she started to tell this man, oh, I like this store. Oh, I want to go here. I want to go there. He's laughing at her because with Venus and Libra, she's attracting the type of mate that actually wants to kind of be in an actual relationship and make it seem like they're kind of equal, even though there is a big age difference. And even though he is paying for everything, he's the type of guy that wants to be lied to, basically. Like, lie to me and tell me that you love me. Lie to me and tell me that you want to be with me. Lie to me and tell me that you want to be my wife type of thing. So if she can't really play that role, and if she's coming off asking for money too soon, then she could end up being dropped by that man. And I think he did drop her quick. So it says the real reason Russell Simmons' 21-year-old daughter was forced to find a 65-year-old sugar daddy. So her black moon is in Aries. It's squaring Chiron and Capricorn. So remember, I told y'all about this Aries Capricorn square. So this is basically showing that she's really not about that life. Deep down inside, she really can't get down with old men. Plain and simple. So again, this makes me think she's really just doing this to piss her father off and maybe get some coins at the same time. Because also, didn't her father get into it over money? And she was basically saying, like, yeah, you didn't give us money or you weren't supporting us or something like that. Siobhan said, I think this was a promotional stunt for her to receive more offers. That's a good point. That's a good point. But it kind of backfired on her, I think. Because again, like when she was in that car riding with him and she was like she was really showing her age and it was embarrassing. And people in the comments, they were just like, oh girl, just stop. This man is laughing at you and everything. So unfortunately, I think he got what he wanted from her, which was sex, and then he probably dropped her quickly after. But with the aspects she's working with, she could definitely attract other sugar daddies. She just got to be strategic about it. She got Venus in Libra. Libra is strategy. So she has to move strategically. She can't just come out the gate asking for money. She has to make it seem like, oh, yeah, we're going to be in a relationship. We're going to be together, all that. So with all that being said, this should just show you that depending on what you have in your chart, you could attract a sugar daddy, but you're going to have to go about it in certain ways. Now, some people could just ask for money outright and get it. Other people, they're going to have to use some finesse. And some might have to use some straight up manipulation. All right, next, this is the final example that I have tonight, and then I gotta run because I got a lot of work to do, but I do have some videos that I will be putting out very soon, so stay tuned for that. So let me know when you can see the next image and tell me who this man is. I know some of y'all know who this is. Siobhan said even Diddy was promoting the twins after Kim passed. Damn, I didn't know that. That's sick. Oh, Pisces moon. Yes, Shira 7. I should have used her as an example, but I don't have her birth date, but I'm sure somebody could get it. But and I don't really like talking about other YouTubers, but I don't have nothing bad to say about her at all. I used to subscribe to her channel, and she has a lot of good things to say, but I ain't even gonna lie. I wouldn't want to be married to her husband. I have a Taurus South Node and Venus in Libra, so looks do matter to me. I'm sorry, I can't. What's his name? James? I can't be with a guy named, I can't be with a guy like James. I can't. But more power to her. And I like that she empowers her viewers and stuff to really, choose right. But, sometimes you still gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. But yeah, she is isn't she a Pisces? But I remember I was like, she must have something in Aquarius. She might have Venus in Aquarius, because she's definitely in a relationship of convenience. Yep, she's a Pisces. Yep. All right. Oh yeah. So y'all see the image, Jerry Seinfeld. So if you're a Gen Xer or a Boomer, or maybe even an early millennial, you'll remember back in the day that there was a scandal involving Jerry Seinfeld dating this girl named Shoshana. And guess what? She was still in high school when they were dating. Like for real, like he didn't care either. Actually, he tried to hide it. And then the media caught them out one time and they was like, wait a minute, this girl is only 17. Oh, thank you. March 13th. Let me write this down. Hold on. Let me write this thing. Hold on. I'm getting my pen 3/13/79. All right. You got the city and state. You got the time. Now let me stop. 3/13/79. Okay. Yes, she was 17 when they were seen out on a date together. And Jerry basically was like, hey, we just went to have dinner or something or lunch or whatever. He basically brushed it off, made it seem like that they were just friends. And then later it came out, oh no, they're really girlfriend and boyfriend. And now he's taking her to award shows and stuff. This was back in like, what was this? Back in like mid 90s, maybe early 90s. So Jerry Seinfeld, he's a Taurus. Venus and Gemini. Now that Venus and Gemini is not really sugar daddy energy, but it can represent a schoolgirl. So he has Venus at the 0 degree of Gemini in his first house. So this is schoolgirl energy. And if we're talking about schoolgirls, that is someone underage more than likely. And again, he started dating her. Well, I can't even say started. He was found to be dating her when she was 17. But I wouldn't be surprised if he started dating her earlier. Why? Because is it her chart or his chart? No, it's her chart. Wait till I get to her chart. Because remember, I told you before, degrees can deal with the ages of people and the ages when things have occurred in your life. Now, just look at Jerry Seinfeld's North Node. His North Node is at the 18th degree of Capricorn. South Node at the 18th degree of Cancer. Capricorn deals with things being publicized, things being brought out to the world. So you could kind of say like he wasn't comfortable with coming out into the world until that girl was 18. But then the media got to them before she even turned 18. So that blew his spot open and all that type of stuff. Now, So schoolgirl energy. Also, this is dealing with the media attention that his relationship with her received. And also, when you have Gemini energy, you can pretty much rationalize any type of behavior. So here he is rationalizing why he got with her and stuff like that. Venus trying Chiron and Capricorn. Chiron and Capricorn. Chiron's at the 28th degree. That 28 can deal with youth because it breaks down to one, and that's Leo energy. And basically, this is showing his ability to be the exception to the rule because of Chiron when it comes to dating. And I wouldn't be surprised if him being the exception to the rule dealt with him getting permission from her own father, or maybe it was her mother, to date her. Because if you think about it, how could she keep this from her parents? You're dating this mega superstar, Jerry Seinfeld. More than likely, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if her parents knew and they basically gave him her blessing. And they do have this Jewish connection going on, which you'll see in a minute with another aspect. And sometimes culturally, I'm not saying that this is a Jewish tradition to date someone underage, but I'm saying sometimes things are kept inside one's culture and things are kind of hush hush, and they'll be like, okay, well, if you pay our mortgage off, you can date our daughter. I wouldn't be surprised if that shit happened. I would not be surprised. Now, his ability to will control over a schoolgirl, that's what that could represent as well. So, this one person that went to school with Shoshana said, when I was in high school, 38-year-old Jerry Seinfeld was dating a girl in my year, and he picked her up from class during fourth period, and she got to skip Mr. Solinsky's calculus exam. She said, I got a 93 out of 100. This chick must be a Gemini saying it. But anyway, again, he's picking her up from school. I'm thinking the parents, they knew about it and they were okay with it, probably because Jerry was kicking them some money, was throwing some money at them. He was probably supporting the whole family. So moon at 20 degrees Pisces in the 12th house. So this is simp energy, like I said, but it can also deal with secrecy and lies involving a female. Also, where he's lacking boundaries. In this case, he's lacking boundaries in terms of age. Moon in Pisces, square Jupiter and Gemini. This is him lying to the media about his relationship to Shoshana. Moon parallel Amor in Pisces. This reinforces the secret love theme. And then he has the 15th degree of Leo on the fifth house cuts. And that basically is him dating a child / minor. So again, he got with her when she was a child, technically. Now here's Shoshana's chart, and this is what I'm talking about when you look at the degrees. So I noticed that Shoshana has Saturn at the 16th degree, Jupiter at the 16th degree of Aries. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started dating her when she was 16, not 17. Because remember, he was keeping this shit a secret. It was the media. Wait a minute, who's that? Is that? Oh, that's a different birthday. Oh, it's the 11th, not the 13th. Thank you. So we got 11 makes more sense. 11, 1979. Thank you. And then what's this? What's Letitia Padua? What's that? I'll just write it down. Diana says she just did a haul the other day with some cool witchy stuff. That's the main reason why I would watch her, for like her magic and hoodoo stuff and all that. But I would also watch her about like where she would talk about men and stuff. And yeah, she would crack me up. Yeah, with her sprinkle self. She's so cute. But yeah. Oh, and I love how she talked about how she used to work for a mortician. She was doing mortuary science before he came into her life. And I thought that was really interesting. All right. So again, sometimes when you see a degree repeated like that, like Jupiter at the 16th degree, Saturn at the 16th degree, a lot of times it's reinforcing that something happened when the person was 16 years old. Oh, thank you. Okay. something happened when she was 16 years old. So I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't have her birth time, so it's not like I could see where these planets line up house-wise, but I wouldn't be surprised if she was dating him when she was 16, maybe even younger. You never know. So she has Sun conjunct Gemini South Node. So this is her dating a man while in high school. And you never know. Jerry and her could have been together in a past life. Media attention that she received as a result, because Gemini rules the media. So she has a classic sugar baby daddy aspect with Venus conjunct Saturn. So that sugar daddy aspect, but also just her being attracted to partners who are older than her. And this can also represent a business arrangement, opportunism. So think about the Cancer theme. Remember when I said I wouldn't be surprised if her parents were down with it, if her father gave Jerry permission. So Cancer rules family, then Saturn is also representing the father. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And then the ethnic connection. So both Jerry and Shoshana are Jewish. Jerry's Jewish heritage is showing through his Mars in Capricorn. He got North Node in Capricorn. And if you watch the show Seinfeld, Seinfeld was very pro-Jewish. Like basically all the actors on that show were Jewish, I believe. Most, if not all of the actors. So Jerry's Seinfeld has really like worn his Jewish heritage on his sleeve and worn it as a badge of honor. And again, for that man that wanted to question what I was saying about the Jews being ruled by Capricorn, where there's a correlation between Capricorn and the Jews, Jerry Seinfeld is another example of that. And then don't even get me started on Saturn, because they were trying to school me in the comments about Saturn and what Saturn represents. I'm not even going to get into it because I'm probably going to get real snarky, but I'm not even, I was actually just surprised because I'm like, you're coming on my channel trying to tell me something that I consider to be elementary in terms of astrological knowledge. And you're trying to tell me something? I'm like, please, just because you're on Twitter, or now they call it X, or you're on Instagram or TikTok and you think you know astrology because of the posts that you're reading, please have a seat. But yeah, sometimes people really be getting on my nerves with some of the comments that they write, because I'm like, what cracks me up is the most ignorant people be speaking with the most confidence, like you just know you're right. And I'm like, you please. Anyway, I'm just like, some people. And no, what really got me, because this was one of the times where I actually responded to this person. So I responded to their comment, and then they had the nerve to double down on the ignorance. And I didn't even read the second comment they made. I just, you know how you could see when somebody comments again? And I just saw the first few words and I was like, oh, she doubling down on the ignorance. Okay. And I was like, I don't got time for this. I'm not here to teach you. If you want to learn, take my class. But that's not what I'm here for. And one of the things I gotta say, and I gotta commend everybody that's on this chat right now, most of y'all, if not all of y'all, what I've learned is that the people that watch my channel, they have a lot of knowledge of astrology already, it seems. Like y'all come to me already with knowledge of a lot of the fundamentals of astrology. So when I say certain things, or if I talk about certain aspects of stuff, y'all get it. But if a newbie comes to my channel and they're just learning about astrology, or if they never went deep into the astrology rabbit hole and they're just dealing with surface level knowledge, dealing with astrology, yeah, they might be thrown off by some of the stuff I say because they're not dealing with the real. But I noticed that y'all understand, because y'all are dealing with a higher level in terms of your knowledge of astrology, and I really appreciate that. And that can also explain why I don't have this huge subscriber count, because I notice a lot of times these videos, they probably do go over the average person's head, because the average person, even if they're into astrology, they're just thinking about the zodiac signs. They might learn about the houses and stuff. They might learn about some aspects and stuff, but they really don't get deep into it. So my channel is really not for the mainstream astrology person that loves astrology. This is where if you really want the science, come to me. If you want the science, come to me. If you just want the surface knowledge, go to them other people. It's the same where people be like, oh, we want you to do the light side of the zodiac signs. And I still might do that one day, but I'm gonna need some free time to do that. But I always say, if you want the light side, go to those people that talk about all the good stuff. Cause you can get that anywhere, like the good stuff about the signs. But when it comes to like the problematic traits of the signs, that's where, yeah, come to me, because I can tell you how nasty and dirty and low down and stank and funky some of these aspects and signs and stuff can be. Because my thing is, that's really going to help you out more so than you just learning about the bright side of things. Because guess what? We're living in a world where I would say at this point in history, 60% of the world is not who you want to deal with, really. I really think that the scales are now tipped towards evil. And when it's like that, you have to move accordingly. You can't just be trusting anybody and all that stuff. And that's why, especially in this day and age, it's very important that you understand how dark some of these signs, well, all of the signs have a dark side. And it's important to understand how dark it can become. And there's no reason to get get your panties in a bunch because let's say you're a Scorpio and I'm talking about the dark sided traits of Scorpio, doesn't mean that you are embodying those traits. You could be on the light side, but it's still important that you learn about the dark side because as a Scorpio, you could attract dark sided people that are representing that Scorpio in your chart. And that's what some people don't understand. You could be the best person on this planet. You could be a total angel, but that does not mean that you're not going to come across some evil, low down people. It happens to good people all the time. So you need to learn what to look out for. You need to learn about this dark side. And that's why I'm so focused on the dark side, namely my North Node's in Scorpio in the 10th house. I've been put on this earth to show people how dark things can become and to show them the rhyme and reason why astrologically. I'm not here to be giving you a bed of roses and telling you everything's going to work out fine. Because also with my Capricorn energy, I know that not everything works out fine. Not every story has a happy ending. And that's why I love those movies that don't have happy endings, because sometimes that's the way life is. And not everybody's going to get the perfect mate and all this type of stuff. And the sooner you understand that, the more easier your life can become. The sooner you learn who to avoid in life, the easier your life can become, the more peaceful your life can be. I had to learn this the hard way. Like, for instance, like I always say, Virgo for me, I'm saying Virgo might be great for someone else. But when it comes to dating, a Virgo man is one of the worst for me to be with because Virgo is intercepted in my 8th house. Now, somebody could do very well with a Virgo. Me, on the other hand, no. I would be crazy to give another Virgo man a chance. That might cost me my life. So, no. So, again, once you learn about the dark side, now you're empowered because now you could say, you know what? I choose not to deal with that. And that's very Leo because Leo is ruling your free will. A lot of our life is heavily fated, but we do have a certain amount of free will. And that's where Leo, your sun, and the 5th house comes into play. You can also say Mars has a little bit to do with that as well because Mars deals with your actions. But Leo is free will. It's your will. So once you understand your fate, once you understand the cards you've been dealt with, now it's up to you to make the right decisions in life. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you to make the right decisions and to avoid a lot of the unnecessary bullshit that you could come across if you're just going through life blind. and just blindly trusting everybody and stuff. I used to be one of those people where I used to trust people. I wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt, or I just want to love you and I just want you to love me in return. And I thought love was pure like that until I'm being stabbed in the back repeatedly. And after a while, you get tired of that. So, yeah, I'm here to help y'all stay safe, to help y'all make better decisions and everything. And I'm sorry if I come across as always focused on the negative. But again, I feel like I was put on this earth to be that alarm, to sound the alarm like, look, this ain't a game. This actually, life is kind of like a game, but it's a serious game. It's chess, not checkers. Shout out to Indigo because he posted this post where it was like this meme dealing with chess. Yes, the game of life is chess. It's not checkers, and you got to move like a chess player. Does anybody play chess in here? I love the game of chess because chess will teach you how to think. Because chess is basically representing how life works. And there's always somebody out to get you, believe it or not. And I don't mean to say that where it means, oh, be paranoid, but it just means move smart, move strategically so that you don't be a victim. Getting into the game of chess is good because it really teaches you how to strategize. It teaches you how to think 2 and 3 steps ahead of the opposition. And chess is a Libra game, big time. All right. So Mars and Aries trine Neptune and Sagittarius, having a man simp over her, spoil her. Secrecy involving a man. Moon in Capricorn. So she has Moon in Capricorn, which means that more than likely she grew up fast. With my Capricorn moon, I can attest to that. I grew up fast and I couldn't wait to become an adult and do adult things. Also, her being an opportunist, but this can also just represent her family, right? Because the moon also rules family. And also where her personal life is being publicized and drawn to older, experienced, wise people in general. And here's that story again about the Demia and James. So this is a sugar daddy, sugar baby couple. And I was going to like talk about some aspects that they could have in their chart and synastry, but maybe somebody can get at least her birthday. So her name is Demia Williams. She's 31 years old. Says she wasn't expecting to fall in love with James Parker, 67, when he messaged her on Facebook after she posted a request for a sugar daddy. So it says a woman fell in love with her sugar daddy after he bought her a 340,000 pound house and a 40,000 pound car. Now the pair are engaged despite the 36-year age gap. Demia Williams, 31, wasn't expecting to fall for James Parker, 67, when he messaged her on Facebook offering to be her sugar daddy. So he extended the offer to be her sugar daddy. She didn't have to go looking for it. Interesting. It says the hairdresser was tired of the drama that came with dating younger men or men her own age and had posted on her Facebook account saying she was looking for a sugar daddy. Oh, okay. So she did post. Okay. And he basically answered the call. Demia said she was looking for someone older than 50 to help her financially, to help her feel stable and secure in her life. Now, again, some of y'all are real good at finding people's birth dates. So if you could find this girl's birthday, Demia Williams, she's 31, and then the man is James Parker, 67, and send it to me, I would greatly appreciate it because I'll do a reading about them in particular as well. So it says, when divorcee James, then 62, a retired Marine, he looks like a Marine, got in touch, Demia was unsure at first, but started to warm up to him as they spent time together. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Leo. The pair would work out together. When Demia had her car stolen, he bought her a 40,000 pound Jeep so she could still get around. Each week, James would take Demia out on a date or send her money if he was away. And they would go to the shops every week, and Demia could spend as much as she wanted on designer clothes. Over time, Demia found herself falling in love with James and the pair started dating in November 2017. In 2018, well, I can't, that thing is over. It says Demia, who owns a hair company from Atlanta, Georgia. I was like, she probably dealing with some Taurus energy. Yes, I did blaze it because you didn't you say it's the 11th instead of the 13th, March 11th, 1979. Was that the update? Okay, anyway. So says he messaged me saying, I meet your requirements. Oh, wait, let me go back. Demia, who owns a hair company, I was like, she might got some energy in Taurus. From Atlanta, Georgia, US said, I wasn't expecting to fall in love with my sugar daddy, but he made me look at life differently. He messaged me saying, I meet your requirements plus more, and it intrigued me. Now he's not just my sugar daddy, but my man. He may be 67, but he's very active and he still has high energy. See, that's a sign that man got fire in his chart. So he might be a Leo or at least have like Mars in Leo or whatever, Moon in Leo. He might be an Aries, might be a Sagittarius. A lot of times, if somebody still has high energy, they're still very active. A lot of times, they got a lot of fire in their chart. Now, James, who has 4 older children, said, I liked her because I could tell she was a go getter. James, who has 4 women. I met all her qualifications. I didn't think it would go that far, and we just had the odd date, but we found something special. Demia was struggling financially when she posted on Facebook looking for someone to help take care of her. So, y'all, if you're looking for a sugar daddy, you might want to go on Facebook and put the notification out there. But be careful again. Be careful. And I do recommend, if you want to be with a sugar daddy, just go to an astrologer, whether it's me or someone else that's reputable, and at least get a reading, a quick synastry reading, real quick. Synastry means compatibility. Get a quick compatibility report or reading so you can find out how this might go down, and you can find out about the potential threats, potential challenges that you're going to be faced with. Don't go in this with, blinders on. So again, you could go to me because I do synastry, compatibility readings, and all that, or another reputable astrologer so that you could get the real on how this is going to play out. Because again, nowadays, people are crazy. You got to be careful. So she said, I put a post on social media that I said I wanted someone over 50 who could help take care of me and be able to provide financial support. Demia was shocked when James popped her a message in April 2017. He was very confident, but I wasn't sure at first, she said. He was 62 and a little older than I thought I'd go for, but I gave it a shot. At first, he just helped me out, but we started to spend more and more time together and really got on. He was really there for me. He bought me a Jeep when my car got stolen. James would treat Demia to meals out and designer clothes when she was, whoever wrote this is horrible, when was feeling down, and bought her a 340,000 pound house. He literally changed my life. He started investing in my hair company as well. So hey, if you got a business and you need some investment money, hey, you might want to get a sugar daddy. I realized that he was becoming more than just a sugar daddy for me. I'd fallen for him. Now that's cute. The fact that she starts to fall in love with this guy when she originally just wanted him as a sugar daddy. And like someone said, I think they do make a good couple. So this is a sugar daddy relationship that I can really get behind and that I can really feel good about, because I'm like, this seemed like it could really work out in the long term. Now, did they get married? I don't know. Let me see if it says that. Oh, that's the end of the article. But anyway, like I said, if anybody could get either of their birth dates or both of them, I would really appreciate it. And I'll do an appendix video where I talk about their situation in particular. But yeah, that concludes my video on sugar daddy, sugar babies, the astrology of sugar daddy relationships. I hope that you got some insight out of that. And again, just be careful whether you're trying to date a sugar daddy or just a regular guy. Be careful out there, y'all, because people are losing their minds nowadays. People will kill you for nothing. And I wouldn't want anything to happen to any of y'all. So y'all stay safe. I love y'all. Oh, and one thing I wanted to ask y'all. So you notice I was kind of ranting tonight and like kind of like on my soapbox, and I was kind of in a preachy way. And I wanted to know if y'all would like that sometimes. Like if I do a live stream where I'm just giving you some advice, or I'm just talking from my own experiences about life, and where I'm just giving y'all some, maybe counsel and stuff like that, especially from a spiritual, philosophical perspective. I've been hesitant to do that a lot because I don't want to come across as preachy, and I don't want to come across like telling people what they should be doing, because I feel like there's enough YouTubers out there that do that. But every now and then I do get the spirit. Like I'm a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the preacher, the minister. I do get the spirit sometimes where I do want to like preach, or I do, and of course not about like, go to church or not, but no, sometimes I have a lot to say and I got a lot on my mind, and sometimes I do just want to, just go off and talk about some of the things that are happening in the world and all that. So if y'all would like me to do some live streams like that where I'm just, and sharing some of my life experiences, and how maybe that can help other people get through stuff. There's this one life experience that I've dealt with that I've been going back and forth about sharing, that I might at some point, and I'm starting to get choked up now, so I know I'm probably not ready to share that with the world just yet. But it's a traumatic experience that I had to endure when I was younger. And it might help some people to know that maybe you're not the only one that had to deal with something like that. But yeah, so I might start doing some live streams where I am like basically doing some, preaching, kind of quasi preaching and stuff like that. So look forward to that. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning into this live stream. Stay tuned for more videos. I got a sponsored video for Mars and Gemini. So I'll be doing that before Mars leaves Gemini. And I know some of y'all wanted me to do that. So Kauai was nice enough to sponsor that video for y'all. So thank Kauai. And thank you, Kauai, once again for sponsoring this video and others. Stay tuned for more. I'll be back. Peace, many blessings, and continue to enjoy your summer. Oh, and don't forget, Mercury's turning retrograde. So just do what you normally do when Mercury's retrograde. Just double check everything. Be more careful when it comes to driving or even just crossing the street. Make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. Make sure that, think twice before you send a message, especially if it could be inflammatory. Don't be surprised if you hear from an ex while Mercury is retrograde. So yeah, but it'll be over before you know it. But it could be a particularly challenging one with that Virgo energy. So yeah, but I'm sure we'll get through it like we always do. But yeah, be safe, much love, peace, many blessings, and out.